Hello everyone. Before we get started on this week's episode, just a quick word that YouTube in all its infinite wisdom has decided that some of the Die Party games are now not suitable for advertising. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the content. I'm not going to censor the videos in any way, but if you'd like to lend your support so that Die Party can continue to grow, please check out the Patreon or subscribe on the Twitch channel. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Die Party Dead Man's Crest, week number 4? 4, yeah. This is a 7th Seas 2nd edition role-playing game right here on Twitch. And, man, we're all dressed like pirates today. Every single one of us is in costume. It's great. Yeah.
No.
I've got my pirate shirt on. This is
I didn't get the memo that said we were supposed to dress as modern pirates.
Okay. Yeah.
So
In that case, I'm always
downloaded
dressed like a pirate.
I downloaded TV shows like last week. Can you believe it? Anyway.
I stole television yesterday.
But did you steal a car?
I would if I could.
Oh my god. Guys.
Easily from the comfort of my bedroom. I wouldn't go down into the street and steal a car. I probably could do that. I mean, I could read up on it and be physically capable of it. But I wouldn't do that.
I don't think you
But
can
I
see
would
over the
download a car.
If I know your height, Wreckage, which I don't.
Yep.
I'm only going off how often you can't see over your webcam.
No, you're right.
I would
You're
say
right.
that you wouldn't even be able to see over the steering wheel of a car.
I mean, that seems rude. They make booster seats.
True.
And they also make adjustable, like the car seats themselves are adjustable. You would be right in that I have to put the seat all the way forward to reach the pedals. But I can see over the steering wheel.
Like that, though.
I got
You
this.
like that?
That seems incredibly haphazard and dangerous.
He has a series of elaborate mirrors.
Look,
He's got 2 sticks he attaches to his feet to
this
drive.
is a normal sized can of pop. Okay, I am not cartoonishly small.
It's one of them fun-sized ones, really. You know,
No, that's-
I don't know if you get them. really
That
small
is a
ones you get.
6-ounce can of pop.
He has a salt shaker. I mean, there aren't many versions of this.
Man, that's a big salt shaker.
No, it's not.
He has filled his room with
looks huge.
All
right,
items
here's one.
to prove
Here's
that
something
he-
that does not have a small version. This is an Xbox controller. This is my body compared
they
Yo,
to.
is that weird
100%
small Mad
have
Cats
small
thing?
controllers.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's so weird.
it's one that lights up.
They
'Cause that was
have
the only one
baby
they had in
sized
store.
It's a Mad
Xbox
Catz Mini.
controllers.
Mad
That's
Catz
a
Mini.
baby-sized Xbox controller, isn't
Why
it?
the fuck do you have an Xbox? That's
I
the
don't.
real
He
question.
just
here.
has the controller for size controllers.
Yeah. No, I use the controller to play games like Cuphead, and I just got it. Like, Cuphead and Dragon.
Pooh and Man McGee. Speaking about
The
Man,
games that you have to have a controller to play, because they
Nice
literally
try.
don't work with keyboard and mouse.
Let's do some introductions. Hello, Mr. Eugene.
I don't know how to turn the light off now.
What's up? Okay,
How much?
nice hat.
Wait, there. Okay, shit. Okay.
I'm watching Wreckage do his thing.
Yeah, he's the type of guy that buys a computer with a light in it because fucking people care about that. Anyway,
It was the only one in the store, and it was exactly the same price as a normal one.
so you said, "Fuck it, I'll get the shitty version."
I've never turned the lights on for my own, personal use.
Look, we're talking about Eugene right
For
now.
your own personal use.
Eugene, hello. How are you? How was your week, my man?
I'm doing well. My week was very week-like.
Ooh, yeah.
I went to work.
Mhm.
I came back from work. I played some video games.
Mhm.
I'm really digging Total War Warhammer 2, the re-warrening War of the Seven Wars.
You still playing with the Poop Master?
Yeah, well, so I was able to carve out some time in the Poop Master's schedule for some Skaven on Skaven action.
Mm.
But now he's all busy all the time, so
never
I'm
busy.
doing some of that dark elf titty action.
Oh,
And,
titty action. Yeah, I got you.
I hate every second of it. They're an enjoyable race to play, and the game is good. I hate elves to the very core of me. So playing as them makes me want them to die in massive numbers.
I mean, you could do that. You could genocide off the entire thing. I mean, the game would end, but like you could do that, right?
Yeah, but then I would have to deal with the scorn of my chat, and it is a problem.
Very scornful.
I respond poorly to the negative jeers of my peers and viewers. It's why I keep doing shows with you guys, because I'm afraid that if I ever stop doing shows, one, you're not going to be my friends anymore, and two, you'll say bad things about me, either to my face or behind my back.
Who said anything about friends?
Okay.
Damn.
Now I have to send James like a birthday cake or something so he will love me again.
Yeah, with rat poison in it. Damn.
Don't tell them about the rat poison, Henley.
Well, send him 2 cakes and say in the letter one of them is poisoned. But then poison both of them.
Poison the letter.
Oh, shit. Oh, he put
Buy a
powdered
gun.
sugar in the letter. That's amazing.
Shoot them in the face.
And KO, I am aware that at certain angles the sloth behind me looks like bunny ears. That may have been by design.
Nice.
It wasn't, but I'll claim it.
Speaking about being by design, let's go to the man who was crafted in the image of the Lord of the Sea himself, Mr. Prilo. What up? How you doing?
Who's the Lord of the Sea?
I forgot his fucking name. It was a great
Poseidon
joke.
or Neptune.
Thank you. That's the one. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Poseidon or Neptune,
You can
based
pick.
on.
You can pick.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get one or the
want?
other.
What do you want? What do you want? Greek or
Roman.
Roman?
I mean, I don't know. Which one would you rather
they
be?
They're the same gods, aren't they? I thought
Pretty
just
much.
renamed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all the
mostly.
pantheons are pretty much the same.
The myths
thing,
slightly
just-
change. And of course, we're only talking about Greek and Roman.
You could
There
be
have been many gods
Aquaman.
of the sea.
You could be the Dothraki Aquaman. It's up to you. You make that decision.
I mean,
Anyway.
actually, if you dyed your hair like glorious gold, and grew that beard out just a little bit, you would have the same sort of like swish and beard that Aquaman does.
You can see me in those nice tights.
I could see you in
Marvel role-playing game.
I could see you in Sea Lab.
Sea Lab.
Underneath the sea lab.
Yeah. Anyway, what's up, man?
Anyways,
How's your week?
yeah, I've been playing a lot of PUBG.
Really?
Yeah. Other than that, been streaming on other D&D shows. I don't know. It's not been that.
All right. Question for
entertaining.
you about PUBG, because I played it the other day.
Yeah.
I'm still bad at it. How long do you reasonably have to play it for before you can be like, okay, I'm okay at this game? Like, if you just sat down and played
I
maybe...
started playing and I was amazing already, so I didn't have to go
So
through
you
that
evolved
process.
with the game then?
Prylor doesn't know the plight of the common man.
Yeah. That game
you just gotta
makes
play.
me- yeah.
You just got to play it a bit and not jump to the locations where everyone's going to be right off the start.
Oh
unless
yeah,
you're-
no, I know. Like when I first
Because
started playing the game, I would get all the way to like the top 10, right? With like 2
Unless you're hard,
But,
you know,
like-
unless you have like an actual chiseled body and you're not
Yeah.
a baby.
If you that's the thing. If you're a badass and have a team that can do it, and you jump where the guns are going to be, and that's how you do it. But I usually find a UMP, and then I kill someone that has looted better.
What
stuff.
is your fucking kill normal average?
I don't know what my average is, but I
I tend to say that
probably get 5 at least around.
anything over 5, 6, and then you like get in the top 10, I would say that you're a better than average player. Like
I mean, I get fucked over sometimes. You know, everyone does, where you'll be walking around and then bam, you're sniped in the head. So I don't always get 5, but
the hardest part for me in that game, and I realized this was the recognition of the direction of receiving fire. Like if the moment you can work out that is the moment you become a good player, and I don't play enough to fucking
it's still hard.
understand that. Yeah,
it's because
like you'll be
the
walking
weapons
through,
attachment. The weapon
through a
attachments really
forest.
help. Help stop that as well.
You'd be walking through a fucking forest, and then you get shot at from somewhere, and you can't work out where it is, so you hide behind a tree, then you get shot in the back, then you hide behind another tree, and you're still getting shot in the fucking back, and you're like,
yeah,
what the fuck is this guy? And then you die.
It is tough, and especially because the bullets do so much damage, you don't get that much time to react to it. You're just you get shot a couple times, you're dead. Mm-hmm. I also I did try Fortnite, the BR. I did not like it one bit.
It's kind of funny because like Fortnite was an interesting game that for the most part had terrible pacing, and then like people started flying and dying and stuff. So like just leaving the game, and the battleground stuff that they released was just like, yep. Now we have more players than Battlegrounds. Like in the first release, they had like 1 million fucking players of it.
Well, it's free to play, man.
Yeah,
that's the power of free to play.
Cross-platform as well. So.
Oh yeah, is it?
Yep. Plus, they advertise the fuck out of it on YouTube. Like I've probably made a shitload of money from that game because of the ads. Like just the ads is crazy. Like even in Poland, they have the ads for it. It's like that's.
It is very. It's very. Hey, noob friendly, if you will. Just start the game, jump in, and you can do well. Guns, some of them I don't get because I've been shot like a mile away with a shotgun and killed, and I've also put my gun up against someone's head, like right from behind, and pulled the trigger twice, and they didn't die. And I don't know how they registered the hits in that game, but
hit scanning, I think it is.
It's terrible.
Anyways, let's go on over to the birthday boy, James.
It's my birthday.
My man. Happy birthday, dude.
Happy almost birthday.
It is his birthday.
Not you.
Depends on where you are geographically.
Hello, it's me from the Safari.
Nice. Safari Gym.
Safari Gym.
I just wanted to do that, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, like...
what have I been doing? Bugger all, I think, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like early morning for us, and it's your birthday. So what do you got planned for the rest of the day after you swashbuckle it up with us?
Sleep a bit.
Yeah.
I guess after this, I was going back to bed, and then later tonight I've got like Hero Crest, and then I've got your other thing after that, and then on Saturday is when I'm going to get like a blind drunk on stream.
Fuck yeah, my man. That's how you do it. Fuck yeah, have a toasty for me. You know, like yeah.
Crumpet, yeah.
No, a drink.
Oh, I thought you meant a crumpet. Something in the toaster.
No.
Sure.
Anyways, all right. But what else have you been doing, man? Like, it's been a week since we've seen you.
We did Tales from the Loop on Sunday after 2 weeks of not being able to go.
Oh, yeah. How much of the time was spent you guys catching up?
Not much, because I've done it episodic. So each episode is like a stream. There isn't that much to catch up on because it's self-contained.
Okay.
So, yay. It means that it's easier to like not have to like watch every bloody episode if you don't need to. If that makes any sense. And then we did L5R, which is not episodic, and it's about 20 weeks in. So if you want to catch up, you've got to like go back. It's about 6 weeks.
Yeah. That sucks.
And also, we've been looking at the new L5R that came out like about an hour before. It's on beta, so through Fantasy Flight. So we were just looking at that before I came on here.
Oh, it's picked up the old L5R is Fantasy Flight? Do they have
now
custom dice? Yeah. Oh, now it is. Interesting.
Custom dice.
How much of it have you played the Edge of the Empire or Star Wars?
Of course, they added custom fucking dice.
What was that?
I've got.
Have you played it? Star Wars?
Yes.
So how similar is it in terms of like conflicts and stuff like that?
It's different because it's more sort of based around like it still uses the roll and keep system from 4th edition, but it uses custom dice instead of numerical values. I haven't really had a chance to properly digest it yet, if that makes any sense, but it looks interesting. The guy who GMs for me GMs, the L5R is really excited about it because it just seems a lot easier to run. But yeah, first impressions is yay, and obviously because it's a beta, like they did with Edge of the Empire, the betas for that, it will change over the next 12 weeks because they're doing it for 12 weeks, and you can download it for free and try it straight away. We're gonna work out doing a stream about like how to set it up on Roll20 because it's using custom dice, so we're gonna have to like use tables and charts or something to do it.
Yeah, you can always make like a HTML thing. That's what I do. I mean,
I don't know. I haven't got a clue how to do HTML.
It's very easy. It's very easy.
It may be easy, but I'm old. I'm like 27 plus.
Fuck you! I'm older than you, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
All right. Realistically, I'm 30. I don't really want to. I'm 35 plus, so I'm kind of old.
Time to get a new skill. Teach that old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
So how's it being 22 years old?
22. I could remember 22 years.
I don't think I could remember.
Is that when World War II happened?
I was probably. I'm not that old, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Other than that, yeah, Hero Crest tomorrow night as well. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing tomorrow. Hero Crest, that ball game that you was looking at when you popped in the other day. But other than that, I haven't really got much else planned. I don't really know what I'm doing for my birthday stream except getting absolutely hammered while playing some games. But I haven't figured out what games yet. I don't know if they should be absolutely complicated and I just lose it, or whether they should just be like silly multiplayers.
Yeah, well,
I'll have to figure it out. But I haven't really played much. I haven't really had a chance to. I've been reading stuff, like rule books and things.
For role playing, yeah. I mean, like all you can do is just like start up the game. We're playing this together, then fucking fumble your way through the rules like we do. That's how we do it. It's good fun. Speaking about good fun, let's talk about Game Master, aka the Doctor, aka the Rukaj, aka the Doctor Rukaj, PhD in small objects. How you doing, sir?
So I'm a quantum physicist?
Yes.
That means I can help you with your dick problem.
A problem? It's not a problem. Fight me.
Hi everybody. Welcome to this game. You may have noticed, if you've been paying attention over the previous weeks, that I've been really struggling with the system. Did a lot of research over the last week since it wasn't clicking yet. I didn't get really any satisfactory answers.
It's an interesting system because like there are people who are like, it's fine, bro, and then there are people that are like, clearly there's a problem here, and then people are just like, just read the rules and do that, and like.
Yeah, so it's like the people who are asking the questions are asking the same questions that I have. Yeah. And then the answers on those threads are like, just read the fucking book. It's like, okay, we don't get it by reading the book, so obviously we're not getting... Anyway, I'm not going to get into a whole spiel. The point is that, if anything, all of my vast amount of research and the videos that I could find and watch have not inspired me or helped me with 7th Seas. So tonight, we're going to wing it a little bit. We're going to keep using the 7th Sea rules, and we're going to see how it goes. I'm just going to call for rolls and do risks and consequences however I feel like. And if it feels weird or the players feel too out of the loop or don't know what to expect, if just sort of letting the pants down, the hair down, so to speak, it doesn't work, then we might be doing something else in the future. It'll certainly still be this exact show with the pirates and the players, but it might turn into a different system, maybe. That's where we're at right now. Also, it sounds like because of a business meeting, we're going to be out next week, so we'll have plenty of time to figure out what we're doing and come back to you stronger than ever in 2 weeks. But for now, there is a pirate ship that's on fire, or maybe not a pirate ship, that has just passed south of your
Ooh, we're playing already.
Bow.
Nice.
Stern. The one that is backwards.
Stern.
Right past your stern, and the captain has ordered the ship to come about, and all hands prepare to board for some reason. Because originally he was content to let it pass by undisturbed. So they start handing out melee weapons and also boarding axes specifically. Good for, melee combat, but also for putting out fires. The captain and the captains of the watch are assembling 3 different groups. One group is to search the vessel for people, and if they're hostile, to pacify them. If they are in trouble, that group's job is to bring them above deck. Another group's job is just to put the fire out and to prevent further damage on the ship. But there is yet a third group that is volunteer only, because it's going to be the first ones to go over, and their job is just to check to see if what's burning on the ship is in any way about to explode, like if it's near the powder kegs or something, or if it's just like a kitchen fire or something that got out of hand because the ship's abandoned, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first group is going to be like 4 or 5 people, and it's just to check to see and make sure that the ship's not about to explode. So as PCs, your job is to tell me which group you're going to try and position yourself to be in, including, of course, the volunteer group.
Is there people watching just in case this is a trap and there's another ship on the horizon that no one may
Yes,
have seen?
nobody's getting out of the nests. The navigator's not going. It's not like, like everybody whose job it is to look is still going to be looking. This is purely the deckhands that are going to be like, crossing.
So I have a problem with fire. It's one of the things that I mentioned at the beginning. Like, you asked for a weakness. I said I have a fear of fire.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So where would that fit me specific? Because it sounds like there's a lot of fire-related things, but also...
if I recall correctly, there was a lot of smoke, but we had yet to see any fire.
That is absolutely correct.
I also wouldn't think that he would make it a habit to be like, I'm just gonna go check if there's actually a fire there.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair.
Exactly. Where there's smoke, you would think there's fire. So
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'd go out of my way, especially when I literally have written down here weakness, PTSD, fire. Right.
Right. So so this is the thing is there isn't a group that isn't going. Like, there isn't I volunteer to stay on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there are people who are staying on the ship, but
I would go for I guess if I had to pick, maybe in the first rounds, I want to make myself useful, but I don't think I'm going to be okay with fire. We'll see how we go.
Eric, son of Eric, volunteers for the first swing across.
Right.
I got a question.
Okay. Yep.
We got they're handing out access to everyone, not just the party that's looking for hostiles or stuff like that, right?
There's two groups that will be. Everybody's going to be allowed to be armed, but as far as like being armed for a fight and not just self-defense, the group that's looking for personnel and the first group are the only ones that are going to be armed to the teeth. The bucket brigade for putting out the fire is only going to be armed for personal defense.
All right, so I'm going to be armed to the teeth if I go first with Yujun.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I'll go with Yujun as well. Yeah.
And also
Sorry,
that'll leave
with
Stone
Eric.
is the only person who isn't in the PCs volunteering, like unless you want to, but at least so far, the only person not slated to go across first.
Sure, I'll go across first.
All right, so the player characters are all going first. Who's surprised?
I mean, honestly, like, I'm surprised that I agreed to it. Knuckle. Yeah.
That's what I imagine he uses knuckle dusters.
The ship comes around, and basically, you're gonna swing, because the captain is not going to tether the ships together while there's still a possibility.
One's burning. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, while there's still a possibility that the other ship might go up. Like, basically, your job is to go on below deck and just scope the fire. Is it near their powder keg? Is it near their powder stores? Is this a time bomb? Or is it like a kitchen fire because somebody just left? Like, if the ship was abandoned in a hurry for some reason and there was still a kettle on, a kitchen fire would have started. But boat wood is wet and doesn't spread fire easily. So, like, you need to have fire in near or in the powder keg, or like have all the cannons ready to shoot and have powder next to them. You need that sort of thing going on for the boat to go up catastrophically. So he's just going to pass by and you're just going to swing on ropes. Is anybody wanting to attempt anything fancy with that? You'll just succeed otherwise. But if you want to try and land somewhere extra difficult, or
is there any parts, like, is there any particular parts of the ship that would be difficult to get to if we didn't?
No, not really. Like, this is just for if you're just swinging across and landing on deck, you're fine. If you want to like bust in through a porthole or a window or something for some reason, that would become complicated. But I'm just asking, really.
No, I don't. I mean,
I'm going for the deck.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think landing as a group is probably preferable to splitting up and whatever, But
all right. You've all volunteered, so I assume you all go. You all land on the deck at roughly the same time.
We do that thing where, like, the start of like a movie, a video game, before you take control of your PC, your character, when they slide down the helicopter and then they pull out their guns, and then it goes into.
Yeah,
and we all stand in action pose.
Yeah.
Except I very clearly, when I land, stumble and roll forward a bit.
Yeah, but then you do a hero pose when you land.
But I pop back up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just fall through the boat.
You just stone it. You just like swing power bomb into the boat and just sink it. Nice, I like it.
You, June. Now that you're on the boat, basically every opening that leads to lower decks is spewing smoke. You in particular would be the most likely to notice, given that you do a lot of cooking and have been around a lot of campfires, and in general, I suppose, well, Bjorn wouldn't have as much experience with normal fires. He has a lot of experience with
the
forages and furnaces. But as far as wood fires, I guess I would say that that Eric, son of Eric, would have the most in-character experience with them. This, the smoke, you can't place it. It's certainly not wood burning. Like, it's certainly
not the smell of timbers burning. It's not the smell of a cooking fire.
It's not the oaky smell of like a bunch of wood burning. There is something burning. You notice immediately that the smell of the smoke is off. Basically, it's not what it should be.
What color is the smoke?
It's a very brown, like not black, not like white and gray either. It's like a very
odd color.
Well, it's very billowy, and it's and it's light too. Like it's seeping out.
What does it smell like?
It smells exotic. It's
like
not like
spices, or like we can't place it.
Are these people just doing a shit ton of drugs?
Like you can't. like you can't place it, but like you know,
opium fire. We're just like
it does not smell like, say, any particular flower or any particular spice, but it does sort of put those things into your mind, like spices and flowers, or things that you think of when you smell this smell, because it's very pungent and it's very specific. You just have never smelled it before.
Is it like marijuana? Like
no.
So I go ahead and
someone's hotboxing.
get ready to cover my mouth and nose with my head coverings. Lads, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't smell like normal timber. You may want to cover your mouth. Stone, where do you think the powder's kept on a ship like this?
Would I know where the powers
Sailing test.
No. I mean, here's the thing. Like, maybe in another system, but I think he should just succeed at this. Like, he knows the model of this ship. It's not a foreign ship.
I think you got that right. I think that's probably the correct way to do it.
You know, it's like a schooner or a skip or whatever. Like, you know exactly what type of ship this is, and so you're like, well, I know where the store. Like, there are 2 storage rooms on the ship, and one of them is going to be their food, and the other is going to be their powder, or maybe their booty room. And like so.
Yeah, there's 2 storage rooms on this type of ship. One's going to be like for food and supplies, and the other's going to be like the powder kegs.
And they're both at the front and back of the ship, so it's like, and so you're one or the other.
But
you and I will head towards the powder kegs.
I want to see if the doors. I mean, are the doors open on the ship? Like, are the doors down to?
Yeah, the doors are. So the doors are closed, but they're not latched. Like, if you go over to a deck, like a deck hatch that goes down, and you open it, a whole bunch more smoke comes out, but it's just open.
Are we the only 4 that came over?
You're the only volunteers. I said that he only wanted to send like 4 or 5, and if it's just going to be the PCs, it might as well just be the PCs.
Ricardo, Bjorn, you want to check the other end of the ship while Stone and I check this?
I sort of look at Bjorn and I'm just like, friend, how good are you with the, heat and stuff?
With fire?
I have a confession. I am not so good with
Grab back, you scabrous dogs! You're wasting time.
I just want to see. Are the boats? Are the whatever they're called, rowing boats? Are they still like
the lifeboats?
This vessel has no lifeboats.
It should do.
I mean, they need to be able to get onto shore. So.
This in particular vessel is a shallow bellied vessel that can get up to shore. So this vessel would have no definite need for rowboats.
Landing vehicles.
Whether or not they are absent because they have been taken and were there, or it never had them in the first place, is not immediately apparent.
All right. Well, we'll head downstairs then, I guess.
Yeah, we'll split up and we'll do the double thing.
I was gonna say, if you want to stay up deck and not freak out, I'm going down no matter what.
No, I will join you. I just want to make sure that you understand my precipitation. You know.
When we open the door, do we feel heat at all? Do we feel like a variation in temperature?
Yes, but a minimal one. Not like walking into, say, a burning boat.
As we go into the cabin, I go ahead and like pull Stone down so his head isn't like in the billowy smoke.
I mean, it is still in the billowy. This whole place is filled with smoke.
But you get low when there's smoke, right. And he's very tall, so it's a problem for him.
So here's the important thing that you'll maybe not know. So each of you're deciding to check one of the storage rooms.
Sure.
As each of you go below deck, you're both certain that the billowing smoke is coming from the center of the ship. And the storage rooms are like, the people who are at the front don't know that the fire isn't going all the way to the back. The people at the back don't know the fire isn't going all the way to the front. But each of you go down and
but like, we would know that, say, here in the back of the boat where the storage things where we're supposed to go are, the fire's coming from, or the smoke is coming from the opposite direction.
Right.
So there would be no
basically,
reason to go over
right,
there.
as each of you go down, you're like, the fire isn't near the storage room.
I would go towards where the billowing smoke was. Kind of was my plan initially.
Ricardo,
Yeah.
you are like, your job is done. You can go back out.
I'm going to stay with the companions.
With Bjorn, so you're going to head towards the fire.
Possible fire.
Because Bjorn's staying below deck even though he doesn't have to, and he's heading towards the fire of his own free will.
Yeah, I mean,
like
if I can be of help there without, putting myself into danger still, I think I would be okay with that. But like, I'm also, I don't want to be a bitch about this forever. I want to be able to face my own fears eventually. So, maybe we can make a check later on or something when we get closer. But yeah.
What about Eric and Stone's group? You get below deck and you know right away that it's not on the.
I'm going to send Eric to the closest storeroom, and I'm going to go to the furthest one away.
Well, you sent the other group to the furthest one away.
Oh, did we? Oh,
yeah.
So they went to the back and we went to the front.
Right.
So they went to like food and stuff, and we went to the other one, which was likely.
And pretty much once you get below deck, you can see that the smoke is coming from like center point, and your job is to get back and report to the captain if it's not about to blow. So you know that you don't know which storage room is the powder keg yet between your two groups, but you also know from like your side of things that the storage room at the front of the ship isn't being accosted by flame yet, because all the smoke is coming from like center. It's center low.
I would turn to Eric and go, you go back upstairs and get, signal them that it's good to come aboard. Is it good to come aboard?
I mean, there's still
we're going down deck with Ricardo and Bjorn, but I think
from your side, it's good. You have to confer with the other group if their side was good too.
We'll make our way. Well, I'll make the way towards the front of the ship then. Whatever direction it is.
Towards your storage room?
No, because if our storage room is fine, then I'm going to go head towards them to see if it's.
Are you going to stay below deck and head towards the smoke to get to them, or are you going to go above deck and go across?
I'll head towards the smoke.
All right. What about you, Eric?
I'm going to go above deck and go to the door that they went in and shout to them to see if their side is good.
All right. Well, you can do that quite quickly because you're not, fumbling around in the dark and black smoke. So you guys hear Eric shout.
Brownish smoke.
Is it clear on your side? Something like that,
Well, I mean, I guess it's up to Jorn. He's leading the way, right? So.
I mean, You've both seen that it's clear on your side.
Lads, do we have the all clear?
I don't report to him. I don't tell him anything.
I turn around and I say, it would appear that there is no fire near the storage.
Then what are you still doing in the ship?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How many men would it take to man this boat, do you say?
This boat takes about a whole shift less people to man than yours. It's definitely a smaller vessel. But it is still 25 to 35, maybe even 40.
Okay.
You guys are in the 65 to 75 range.
Four people could not do it.
4 people could not just hijack this boat, put the fire out, and get away.
Yeah.
Also, you could never get away. There's no way you could get away.
I don't know how fast the boat is. That's why I'm asking. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It'd be like that scene in Pirates.
We could kill them.
If we got Pirates of the Caribbean, where you're where just Sparrow and Turner are trying to make way with the interceptor, and it's
exactly.
just whipping a rope and doing nothing. You get the all clear from your buddies, Eric.
Then I go up and wave the all clear to the other ship.
With the all clear, you hear the captain shout muffled orders from the distance. and grappling lines, and more people swing over, and the ships are brought to the same speed so that boards can be laid across the railings, and a bucket brigade starts.
As they come across, I tell them, careful, something's odd about this smoke. Doesn't smell like wood smoke.
A lot of people agree as they start coming over, and there's a lot of commentary about that. As for Stone, Bjorn, and Ricardo, you will all see this first, even as your crewmates are speculating about it. But through the brief flickers of light that make it through the billowing smoke into the hold that you have now moved into, you see a pile of plant material over a stone bed, and wet canvas is on top of it while it's smoldering, basically.
Is it like a signal fire?
I was gonna say this
That
seems
like a trap. Is
Yes.
what that sounds like?
Yes, it sounds like a huge trap.
Is there anything else down in the stores down below?
Is this
I mean,
like a
is there
fire?
is there
Hang on.
s-
Is this
there-
like? Sorry. Is this a fireboat?
No,
Okay. Just making sure.
like a fireboat would have like powder kegs everywhere, and like
The wood would be soaked in oil. We would know that as soon as we stepped aboard it.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then you basically just have like one tentative fire lit somewhere, so that any jostling would cause the fire to light and the whole ship to explode, and that's basically you just crash it into people.
So
Um,
basically, this ship is completely abandoned, and it has something that's meant to smoke.
And not to
send it.
burn.
Yeah. So
You're in the space that has this stone that you're wondering if anything else is in. Is it looks like it is some kind of maybe a mess hall. It looks like the stone flooring there is.
I don't mean just where the fire is. I mean just along the whole hole. Is there stuff that looks like it's been transported, or does it look like everything's been taken out?
Oh, it's still an occupied ship, or like it still has all of the trappings of a ship and all of the pieces, and
Like-
nothing is
No, but I mean
overtly
like,
missing.
I meant like oh shit, for goods and supplies and stuff like
Like
that.
food and-
Yeah, no, everything
Not-
that should be on a
not-
ship is still
not-
there.
Not just. I mean, not. I don't mean things that are like. I mean,
Personal effects. Does
No,
it look like
no,
people
I've forgotten.
inhabited
I've
the
completely
ship?
forgotten the word. But
Everything is still there, Stone. Whatever
I
it
mean-
is that you can't remember, it's still
No, but
there.
I'm talking about like stuff that ships carry from one place to the other. That they then
Cargo?
port of cargo. That's the word.
It doesn't
Not
have any
cargo.
cargo, but it has
That's
everything
weird.
that. Well, it's
Well,
not a
in
cargo
fairness,
vessel.
we also didn't actually check out the 2 storerooms.
This is a shallow bottom boat meant for speed and landing on islands. It is a
built from Thrin, no doubt.
yeah, like it's a this is not a cargo vessel meant to haul goods. It's probably at best it's trying to haul people. Like it
So is
would this would be the sort of vessel that militaristically people who want to land on an island would use, but also transporting like say people as cargo, like slaves.
Mhm.
Although it is not a slave vessel, there's not cages and shit everywhere. The room that has the smoldering plant life, the floor, it doesn't look like these stones were laid out for this. It looks like there's supposed to be a center stone thing, and that might be some kind of mess hall, like you might have originally hanged like a cauldron there. And then like there's a bunch of tables around it that have been pushed aside. Like this was just supposed to be like an open sort of common area with common style like communal cooking, as opposed to like a kitchen in the store off to the side,
So-
like your vessel.
So this type of ship, it wouldn't be. You generally don't see it this far out at sea. Sure, do you?
Well, you're not
Is
that
it-
far out at sea. You're only a couple of days from shore. But it like you're not sure where it is headed or was headed. You don't know anything the crew's about to come down and find this exact same thing and start to undo it. Is there anything else that you want to try and do or investigate in particular before they do?
So we're all together now?
Is there any way we can put the fire
Except
out
for
from
Eric.
here? Like you said,
Okay.
it was just a smoldering thing, right? So can we like cover it and smother it? Like
It's being smothered to produce smoke. So what you would do is, I mean, what's going to happen is that the bucket brigade is going to come down here, take the canvases off, and just pour water on it, and it's going to go out. It's not even.
It's not a problem. It's not going to catch fire. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of smoldering plant material. It is notably plant material that none of you can identify. Maybe that's partially because it's burned, but it doesn't immediately look like, it doesn't look like cabbage. It doesn't look like, cinnamon or something. It does. You're not sure what it is.
mm-hmm.
How long would I? Not that I might know, but how long would this have been alight for?
Like, is there a whole bunch of ash buildup from the plant material?
That's a good question. Let's see if I can turn this into some kind of roll for the first time.
I might not be the best person doing this because I'm not very intelligent, but
Man, there just really aren't that many.
Is notice or wits?
Yeah.
Wits would probably be the one you'd go with, right? If you want to look at this.
Right. So it's gonna be of the three of you that are down there. If anybody wants to attempt to figure out how long this has been going on, wits notice or wits scholarship would both be viable roles.
So just so we're aware, we're still making raises, right? So what's the
We're still making raises, and it'll take 2 raises to buy this off, with an additional opportunity of, if you're using the scholarship roll, an additional 2 raises will let you identify the plant material.
Could you?
But you have to buy both.
Could you theoretically make a roll with wits and scholarship if you don't have any dots in scholarship, or do you have to have a dot in scholarship?
It's wits notice, which scholarship, and if what you're saying is if I have nothing in scholarship, do I have to make the notice roll instead?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can make the scholarship roll, but as I said, you can only purchase the opportunity if you buy off the. Since you're all doing it, any individual person has to get four raises to identify the plant material. And if you're not trying to identify the plant material, you might as well do the notice roll.
Okay.
did anyone want to roll it?
So I got 1, 2, with an 8 left over.
So
Oh wait,
could,
I'd have an extra die there too because it's the first time I'm rolling it. Are we counting this scene like the entire ship sequence as a scene? So like, for example, if we make another notice roll later and I've already used it, I wouldn't get the bonus die? Is that how we're going to do it?
I don't know how we're going to do it, but probably that, yeah.
Okay.
The bonus die is another one of those weird things that really throws off the math in the system.
Okay, well, I would have 3 raises there.
Which is not enough.
Not enough.
All right.
But I
It's
wasn't
enough to figure out how long it's been smoldering, though.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. That's a pretty good roll. I mean, you still have the same amount as me. But that's not with scholarship. Does anyone have scholarship here?
I think someone did, didn't they?
No, I don't think so.
Eric has the scholarship, but he's not down there.
Yeah. Okay.
No. So both Ricardo and Stone, Stone more intuitively perhaps, this smoke was lit. This whole thing has been burning anyway for like 2 hours.
2 hours. Right. Okay.
Do you relay this information?
Yes, obviously. I'll go. It's been like this for about 2 hours, I think. Give or take an hour or two.
What are your thoughts on this, Ricardo?
Well, if their intent was to burn the ship, they're doing it badly.
That clearly was not the intent.
You start to hear the sound of boots coming down the stairs as the crew and the fire brigade are coming in. The search party crew is starting to comb the deck. The fire brigade crew bursts in. Someone's like, "What the hell is this? This ain't no fire." Well, lads, get the buckets in here. Just kick it over. It's nothing really.
I'll say it must be fire. There's smoke.
They rip these wet canvases off, and almost immediately the smoke stops. And then it's just a couple of boots and some 2 or 3 buckets of water, and the whole place starts to clear out. Eric, from your perspective, the bucket brigade goes down below deck, and almost immediately the smoke stops. Meanwhile, the shift of people searching this vessel for survivors or anyone will come back in about 15 minutes and be like, We've searched every crawl space and rat hole on this vessel, Captain, but there ain't no one and no sign of no one neither.
Can I get back to the other ship?
Oh, yeah. All of the hooks and boards and etc. are still there.
All right, I'm going to cross back over.
Okay.
Since we're done.
I'm going to go speak to whoever's in charge, whoever that may be.
The captain?
Okay, I'll go speak to the captain.
All right, captain sort of speaking with his watch captains, but,
I'll wait patiently.
You'll wait patiently? Do you look like you need to talk? Like, are you making yourself visible in that way?
Well, it's quite hard not to make myself look visible.
Right. You there, sailor? Something on your mind? Something you need to report?
Yeah, the little smoke bomb thing that they had going on down there about 2 hours ago, more or less. I'm just wondering if there's any land within 2 hours of where we are.
Going for 2 hours. Thanks for the information, sailor. We'll consult the charts. But off the top of my head, I know these waters right out of port fairly well. I don't recollect anywhere that a ship could make berth within 2 hours. Maybe some rocks, a sandbar.
It just seems really weird that you'd like set a ship adrift with like nothing on it and just not burn it or whatever. It's just really weird.
I'm getting reports that the beds have been used, that the cookery is unpacked. I don't think this vessel set sail with no one. At least that's my first thought.
Oh, maybe they all fell overboard.
Somebody set the smoke signal alight intentionally.
Is there a way that, for example, we got an idea that it's 2 hours, right? Is there a way that we could theoretically say, okay, this is the direction the ship was coming from based on the wind or whatever, and try to get an idea of where it came from?
Because you know the exact direction it came from because you saw it on the horizon like 2.5 hours ago.
Okay, so my first thought was maybe it was like they tried to signal.
No, an hour and a half ago. Like it was lit just before you saw it. It was lit just before you saw the smoke on the horizon and then the vessel.
The only thought
that was 2 hours ago.
The only thing I could think of was that someone maybe like is stuck like marooned on like a little island or something, and they signaled because they can't run the ship themselves or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that I could think of that would make that. So.
I was gonna ask: Are there any identifying flags or symbols on the ship?
Well, you've gone back to your like, is that an investigation that you want to attempt yourself? Because the ship is combing with people, and the investigation is.
I'm just like I can see the ship if they have a flag flying or
like
or
a
something.
fly, specifically a flag of fly. Yeah, it has a. We discussed this last week.
Yeah,
the flag that's flying is an SOS flag.
Oh,
it's a save our ship flag. It's flying the colors of in need of help.
Distress signal, yeah.
Maybe it was a trap that they were setting up to spring, but we caught wind of them before they were able to set the trap in motion. If that makes any sense.
Are you saying that to the captain still?
Whoever's listening.
I think the captain's wandered off. Is anybody like Eric? Where are you? What are you doing?
I mean, I'm probably hanging around with Stone and Bjorn when they came back, and went back over to the ship. Though I don't know where Ricardo is.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd take a thief's eye over the place, see if I can find anything down here. If the fire's no problem anymore, I don't mind like just taking a quick, once over, see if I can find anything that might lead out otherwise.
So when Stone says maybe it was a trap and we just got before, I'm like, pat him on the back and go, or maybe they weren't looking for such well-armed prey, and indicate to both him and Bjorn like with 19 weapons like hanging off their hips.
Yeah. Well, perhaps there is someone that is in need of help somewhere. That's still an option.
Do any of the four of you do your own investigation in any way, or are you just going to wait for the crews and the captain?
That's what I said. I would do my own investigation with a thief's eye. Like I'd once over the ship and see if I can find anything
valuable.
Yeah. Not so much valuable, but like just anything really.
Gotcha.
Information, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just
information's valuable.
He's going to use the keen eye that he developed as a thief to look for things that might indicate value, whether that be material or information based.
All right, so I want you to give me a wit notice roll.
Okay. Wits notice.
And
so this is the second time I'm using notice, so I wouldn't get that bonus die. So let's
yeah, that bonus die.
Mm-hmm. So that's like
2 raises.
2 raises, yeah.
For 2 raises, there's nothing there's nothing valuable. There's nothing out of the place. In fact, this vessel is surprising to you as a thief, in that you may not have a lot of sailing experience, but you're certainly aware. You've done enough business, thiefy business, with say like pirate vessels, that you are acutely aware of false bottoms and secret holds and storage for illicit goods, right? And you don't find that either. You don't find anything at all.
So no, false, not so much false walls or nothing, but just like it looks cleaned out. Yeah, there's nothing left in the ship.
Well, it looks like in particular, it looks like a clean vessel, as in a vessel that does not engage in any illicit activity.
No smuggling holds and that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no. It's not a smuggler ship. It doesn't even have the spots for it, basically.
The logs. Is there anything? I mean, not that I can read, but does Ricardo find any of the logs?
No, he won't find any logs. But he won't find any logs because they've already been handed to the captain by one of the other search crews. So the sort of official records are already in the hands of the captain. Does anybody do anything else? So a couple hours will pass, and the captain will call for all hands on deck on the correct vessel. on your vessel.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Right. So, nothing of value on the other ship. Barely any supplies. Barely any shot. Barely any powder. We've taken her for what she's worth. We don't have need or want of another vessel right now. As tantalizing as it might be, of a target. We're on contract for a specific job. We can't be waylaid the additional week to take it back to port and sell it and come back out this far. So I've ordered the away team to put up colors for abandoned vessel, anchor it, see how long it lasts at sea. At least taking down the SOS and with the smoke signal and all, no other vessel will waste their time on her, except for maybe a scavenge ship. And they can have her as far as I'm concerned. Is that all right with you lot? There's a couple of mumbles alike. I want more money, but like, there isn't enough of a protest that anybody's going to like call a piratical vote, unless any sort of player character wants to speak up.
We ain't got the people to man it, have we? So that's the problem.
How many people would it take to take the ship? I mean, you could tow it, right?
Oh yeah. Like he said, we don't have the time to take it back to port and sell it and then come back out as far as we are. Because you've been out for 3.5, 4 days. So that's a whole extra week to go there and back to this point. And that's not even considering the fact that you travel slower towing a vessel.
And you said it would take too many people to.
Well, its full complement is 25 to 35, but you can always skeleton crew a vessel.
Yeah.
Like making sure people don't pass out from exhaustion. You'd need at least 10 to sail it around the clock. Because you can't just stop sailing at night. That's the thing about sailing vessels is they don't just stop because you want them to. They're still at the mercy of the wind and the waves and et cetera. So you still need to be helming them. Except for if you're like in the Mediterranean, but you're not. You're in the open ocean. So, basically, he's going to anchor it in place and just remove the SOS. And like put up the colors for abandoned vessel and
go from there. I guess.
Seems like such a big score.
It is a big score, and anybody who's thinking that can see the look of consternation on the captain's face. It's a big score for him too. Like it's pretty clear that he only said one thing to the crew: "We don't have time to go sell this."
Yeah,
that's the only thing he thought was important. Was to mention how much he would like to sell it, but he can't.
So going back to the idea that whatever contract he's on has a time limit, I guess. So.
It has a time limit, or it's a really good score, or getting paid.
I mean,
well
it must be a better score than a fucking abandoned ship.
Yeah, which seems pretty high.
Well, I mean, I think this speaks more to the timeline than how big the score is. Because if it was a big score but had no timeline, a week out is nothing.
Yeah.
Stone will say something. Stone will
also
Say,
personal.
like,
it could be personal.
Stone will probably say like, "Oh, it's an ill omen that to take that ship, perhaps."
Actually, a couple of sailors would be like, "Oh, it would be an ill omen. It would be a ghost ship."
No, you must not believe in superstition when that comes to taking advantage of an opportunity. If you did that your entire life, you would never find anything interesting.
If you find a ship without its crew that is not there anymore, clearly something weird happened. You don't want that on your you don't want to be on that ship because it might be cursed or something.
If you believe in curses, then perhaps you are not as.
I'll point at my fucking wrist.
He makes a solid point, Garcia.
Well, that was a transaction, not a curse.
I think
I would disagree.
you were not wise with what you purchased your transaction with.
Well, the other option was death, so
Yes.
I'm going to go back to the kitchen.
And I gave up something I don't have. So.
Yeah, I agree with Ricardo about the ship, but this is definitely a curse.
Speaking of, if nobody else has anything that they want to do vis-a-vis Ghost abandoned ship, then
Well, I mean, it's not like we have much of a choice, right? It's not like we can be like, okay, this is my ship now, bye-bye. Like, we can't.
Bjorn was considering it. Bjorn was considering it.
So, just so you were aware of the options, as a member of this crew, we do have the right to call for a vote if we believe a course of action would be wiser than what the captain has called for. But you have to sway enough of the crew to win the vote. So
you also have the right to make port wherever you want and leave the vessel at any time.
Yeah, so I mean, if you wanted to leave the ship to go on this other ship,
you're allowed to just
That's what I was thinking
here.
about. I was thinking that, but the whole manning it.
There's also no food. There's nothing on there. Like,
yeah, they're not going to give you the food. Like, they're not going to give you the stuff you need to sail away with it. But they don't have the legal grounds to stop you if you and say your one-legged friend wanted to stay on that ship,
and whoever we could convince to man it.
Yeah, what happened to him? We haven't seen him in a while. Is he around?
We haven't.
He's been around, but he's been not interacting with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not like high school where you start coming down a hallway and he sees you and then turns around and doesn't go down the hallway like he was going to do. It's just
like
he
has
ended
he
up on
eaten dinner with us? Has he been?
He's
cordial?
on a different shift. Is the main thing. He's on a different shift. He sleeps at a different time. He eats at a different time. So it's like the time that you could interact. He would have to be intentionally seeking you out to hang out, basically, and he has not done so yet.
Okay,
is basically the gist of it.
He sees me though.
Yeah, you see him, and because you give him food. So actually, we're going to go forward in time. About a week if nobody wants to do anything else with the ghost ship. Last chance. Yeah. All right. A week of pirating happens. Ricardo is the whipping boy of the quartermaster. Stone, you are being just through noticing your aptitude or be given increased responsibilities when it comes to the maintenance of the ship. You're not quite like a fixer or anything yet, but it's very much like, oh, give that to Stone. He can do it. Oh, I've seen him polish the fucking doorknobs before or whatever. I don't know.
What is this, basketball? Do you want the chrome removed of this?
The first person though in a week who's going to notice anything is Eric, son of Eric.
Ooh.
I will give you $5 if before I ask a roll, you can guess in one attempt what it is that you notice.
Everyone turns into skeletons, and he's like, that's weird.
That's weird.
The food, it just disappears and falls
I'm
on the
going
ground.
to guess crew members have developed a rash.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
So I would like to call for a
toast.
It's a goddamn wits notice roll again. There's just not enough skills in this. Anyway, it's a wits notice roll. It requires only one raise to notice the thing. But if you have an additional 2 raises, you can get a secret bonus opportunity.
Well, okay, so hold up. In my understanding of this game, you can change the traits and then have notice roll in there. So for example, if it's noticing about like people's health, for example, maybe
right, then you can be scholarship. In this case,
no, not the skill. I mean the trait. So for example, if it's noticing that people are getting weaker, maybe brawn
What?
Notice, like, you can.
I did not read that in the traits section.
Really? Like, yeah, like the traits are interchangeable, but yeah. Look at that. That's 2.
That's 2 raises.
Yeah.
It is indeed 2.
That is sufficient to notice the thing, but not the additional secret bonus thing, which I am not telling you.
So you put notice on, or the wits on the notice and click notice, right? That's how you roll it?
Yeah, that's how you roll it, yeah.
Yep.
Do I get a bonus die or what?
You do.
You're not rolling.
You're not rolling.
I noticed it.
All right.
Or had a chance to notice it.
Yeah, he had the chance. Nobody else
Probably
had
because
the chance.
he's
Sorry, I thought you were saying everyone. I thought you were okay.
I bet you it's the crew is eating less or eating more. Something about their eating habit.
They're eating each other.
No, and I'm surprised you didn't get it. And the only reason I put $5 in front of you is because I was certain that you could guess where I was headed with this. The crew isn't eating more or less because you serve them. So basically, you control how much food they get. After a week, you notice that there is food missing from storage.
Like, how much?
Not much. Just enough that you notice it. And just enough that you run through your personal, like, this is how much I've cooked. Like, you're the only cook. You're the only one cooking food.
And
just enough that you
like,
go back and you're like, I've used, in this last week, I've used 20 carrots and but last week I had, 62 carrots and now I've got 41. Like, whatever. It's like,
bastard has piked my carrots.
Someone is stealing
carrot.
Just a little bit of food. You'd say just enough for, like,
I know what this is.
An extra meal.
I know
meal.
what this is. We have a stowaway.
Cough.
That would be my guess as well, my friend.
Yeah. How about we take a quick break here, Wreckage, if you're cool with that?
Having discovered the missing supplies, Eric is going to go to whichever watch captain
he reports to.
And
sure thing.
tell them that he's missing some carrots
and all the other stuff you're missing.
I'm missing enough food to feed one person. Oddly enough. It seems like it's an amount that would feed a person, if they weren't eating too much.
The watch captain will respond. The watch captain will respond by saying, "Are you sure? You have proof?"
Counted it twice.
Counting. I know a lot of sailors who ain't too good at that. No offense.
And then in the background, you're like, yeah, it's just more than 6.
I'm not much of a sailor.
Well, what are you thinking? The crew member helping themselves more than one?
I mean, I feed the crew plenty. I haven't heard of any complaint. A man as big as Stone isn't taking seconds. I don't know any of them would risk stealing from the others.
Well, there's a difference between girth and greed.
I mean, most of it's uncooked components, not something you'd really want to just eat.
Are you missing any cooking utensils?
Am I missing any cooking utensils?
Are you missing any cooking utensils?
You tell me. You're the one who told me stuff was stolen. Twice. Am I missing any cooking utensils?
No, you're not.
No, I'm not missing any cooking utensils. And
I feel like
I
Wreckage is having a
watched
conversation
it
with
there.
himself now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, are you missing any cooking utensils? You're not missing any cooking utensils.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like-
in the kitchen 16 hours a day. You know, it's I'm not missing any cooking utensils. They're just taking raw ingredients. So, I mean, I guess it could be part of the crew, but
Wait, are you saying you think it's not someone part of the crew?
I don't know who it is. I mean,
You think?
if we were on land, I'd accuse, the little urchins down the village sneaking into the barn and taking stuff, but I don't see how that'd be possible on a ship.
But you're telling me you're speculating that we have a stowaway.
Seems to make sense to me. If I can make a suggestion, Stone seems to know a lot about boats, and Garcia might know something about the less delicate nature of life. Seems to have keen eyes.
Hold up. The what?
We've been out for 2 weeks, cook. And you've been the cook for all but one of those days. Why are you just bringing this to our attention now? We had a stowaway. We'd have been missing supplies all along.
This is the first time we've been missing supplies. Well, okay, let me pause you right there. When did I notice that we were missing supplies? As I would have taken notice of missing supplies at some point.
At this exact moment where we made the roll and then you came to the watch captain.
Right. So, this is the first time I've noticed. They must not be taking much each time, or this is the first time.
Right. It's so
somebody's
little that
decided to
it
take something.
It either someone took this much all at once just now, or they've been taking so little it was just impossible to notice until just now.
Yeah. So, listen, I cook every day. This is the first time I've noticed supplies missing. So either they're real good at sneaking into the kitchen at night while everyone's asleep, or maybe this is the first time it's happened. I couldn't tell you. I'm just letting you know. I'm missing 20 carrots. Some
Well,
parsnips.
Sounds to me, personally, like it's greedy crew. But I will, of course, pass this along to the other watch captains and the captain of the vessel, and we will take care of it.
Good enough for old Eric, son Eric.
That's me, by the way.
That's me. I'm Eric, son of Eric.
I know your name, sailor.
That's good. And what's your name, Captain? Watch Captain?
My name is Lutis.
Lutis. Wonderful. Probably something I would have already known, but you know what? Now it's good to know.
Well, let's pretend that there was some fourth entity watching our conversation who maybe hasn't seen all of our previous conversations up until now, and for some reason would want to know my name.
You know what I appreciate? I appreciate your storytelling foresight, Lutis.
Thank you. Would you also like to know my tragic backstory?
Kind of. I kind of would like to know. Tell me everything about you, Lutis.
Unfortunately, I don't know you or the other entity watching this conversation well enough to get into that, but maybe someday, sailor.
But everyone views Eric, son of Eric, as a friend. Just ask everybody Eric, son of Eric, has ever met.
Which happens to be everyone on this ship. Weirdly.
It's true.
I consider you a friend, Eric, son of Eric, but I don't consider you a confidant.
I like how sassy everyone is on this ship. It's like a sassy ship.
There's a lot of sass in this ship. Anyway, I thank the watch captain for his time. And that, am I done preparing the meals for the day? You didn't mention what time it was. I would assume that like I took inventory.
It was mid. It was actually just mid doing cooking that you noticed. You tell me whether or not you waited until after you were done
I
to go talk about
brought it up like after I finished preparing the meal, but before I began to serve it. Because I mean, I'm not going to put doing my job on hold to go report it.
Seems like a perfectly reasonable explanation.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but yeah, so that's fine. In which case, it's time to serve food.
So when I see Ricardo, Stone, and Bjorn come through the line, I tell them, lads, I gotta talk to you about something. When I'm done serving the rest, I'll come join you.
You were talking about us about something right now.
Yes, Stone, you're 100% correct. I will talk to you about something else other than this thing that I'm currently talking to you about. Here's your food.
Oh,
I'll join you for dinner, lads.
Can I get your portion of grog?
As always, here you go.
Cheers.
Does that mean you can give yourself more portions than anyone else?
I would suppose if I were an unethical fat slob, yes.
Yeah, but you're not getting liquid like everyone else.
True. Which is actually also fairly awkward in the sense that rum rations were one of the things that privateers were often paid with. And it was part of their guaranteed contract to have a rum ration every day. But obviously,
on this.
there's no real benefit for me to have the rum ration. So giving it to Bjorn doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Well,
I enjoy it.
It hurts my soul a little bit. So I finished serving and I grab my portion and go sit with them.
So Eric, what is it you wanted to talk to us about?
Well, someone's been stealing from my kitchen. Told the watch captain, and he said he's going to take care of it, but there's someone stealing from my kitchen. I'd like to know who.
Someone meaning from the crew?
Don't know. Just noticed that I was missing some carrots, some rhubarb, some radishes, some salted pork.
This doesn't seem like the type of crew to take the, how you say, separate things. Like, I imagine this crew is more likely to take pieces of meat than, say, a vegetable.
Well,
or the rum.
Some salted pork was missing, but as far as I can tell, none of the rum rations were gone. It was just food.
Do we have rats?
Oh, I doubt they'd be very selective about their food, Mr. Stone.
And I didn't notice any gnaw marks. The food was just gone.
Say, there would be tracks and marks.
And shit. There'd be shit. I keep it clean.
I was going to say that as well. That's what I meant by tracks.
As clean as I can.
It's weird that you noticed this the moment after the incident with the ship.
Well,
a week later, but yeah.
I mean, like, we've been on the ocean. It's the only thing that's
happened that's been of any interest.
Exactly, right? And so it's like, I'm not one for speculation, but
are you not? Sorry. Anyway, go on.
Perhaps we've caught ourselves a extra companion.
You think there was a stowaway?
That too, but when would they have gotten on the ship? It was just all hands on deck, swarming across the top of both
honestly
ships.
Speaking, I probably could have done it myself. So maybe it was someone of my skill set. And if you, a very man who's very punctual and very particular about where he puts things, noticed something was missing, but not too much of something, just a little bit, perhaps he is very smart as well.
Garcia, you look like someone that has probably hidden from the law before.
You can say it. I have, yes.
Where would you hide on a big ship like this? Perhaps we can find said stowaway.
Well, I've stowed away before. And it's in fact how I got to meet you, fine gentlemen, if you recall.
I do.
If it was I would probably hide amongst the crew. Maybe take sleep in between the hours. If anything, if he wasn't so comfortable fitting in, because he might not be. Perhaps he has simply made a little hole for himself in a storage or something.
Like a mouse.
Exactly, like a little mouse.
Listen, all I know is I want him to stop stealing my supplies.
Then why don't you set a trap for him? He will need to eat again.
And how would you suggest to do that?
You put some of your food in a bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you lace it with, like, I don't know, something like that sends people to sleep.
That is an interesting idea. Perhaps we should make the man shit himself.
Yeah, he'll definitely, come out to use the loo.
I don't have anything to put a man to sleep or to make him shit himself in my kitchen.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm not entirely
What about
comfortable.
a lot of rum? What about if you laced him with loads of rum and made him drunk?
We could have Garcia just lie in wait.
That too, I could do that. Yes, I have a very fat man that I need to look after like a small child. But I could see to it. Perhaps maybe if one of you could potentially cover for me in my role.
Shifts. Do it in shifts.
Well, who said that?
The person sitting next to you.
Oh, hello, GM. It's good to see you.
No, my name's Jim, not GM.
Gurn. His name is Gurn.
Look,
He's
your
from the
name
South
is
Shores.
Jim Mesa. We call you GM for short.
Why are you telling me what my name is?
Because this is elaboration.
Right.
Garcia is all about elaboration.
I am 100% elaboration.
Anyway, do it in shifts. Doesn't take much to watch a storage room door.
But it does if you don't want him to notice that you're watching.
Well, why do you give a crap? Once you know who it is, if it's a stowaway, you know that there's a stowaway. If it's a crew member, you punish them. Why do they need to not know?
Because if it was I and let's say it is a man of particular skill, he would notice that something is awry and not take anything.
Hence why I nominated Garcia.
You see, you sit in the storage room, and if somebody opens the door when they're not supposed to, that's your guy.
I've got an idea.
What is it, Stone?
So I'm going to turn away from this guy that's earwigging us.
Hey, look,
Can't hear.
there's
Hand
only
on the
so much
face.
space in the mess hall.
Hand on the face, just like...
They can't hear me. So what you do, right? What we do is we get a bowl and you put your food in it, right? You get you just leave it in a barrel. We turn that barrel over. We'll put a lid nearby and we'll wait for him to cool inside, right? And then we'll close the barrel and I'll use the beaver wrap to put it around the edge. And then it'll be someone else's problem.
We're not trying to catch a rodent.
What?
Also,
I thought there was a
Stone,
mouse.
it is a man who is mostly mouse.
You don't know that it's a man.
No, but I just said, is it like a mouse? And
You
said,
would
yeah.
notice a woman on this ship, even if she was... Stowaways can't hide forever.
I was kind of leaning towards perhaps a small child, since they have only taken such few rations.
What about a cat? Could it be a cat?
I don't think it's an animal, Stone.
What if it's a sailor who's keeping an animal?
That is
Possibly,
a possibility.
but I don't know too many animals you could hide that eat carrots.
Rabbit?
I had a rabbit once. Good friend.
Did you
Tasty soup.
Did you bring it on the ship?
Bjorn, that's a solid point. Do rabbits also eat salted pork?
Rabbits will eat anything.
You
I
throw
think
a
that's
corpse
right.
into a rabbit hole, they will eat it eventually, I assume.
Beware a man that has a rabbit farm.
If you ever want to get rid of
I've
a...
heard some stories of rabbits having razor sharp teeth. So
Big pointy teeth.
Okay, let us make a plan.
Anyway, gentlemen, I've got to get back to serving and cleaning up.
Tell me when... Why don't you finish up? Tell me when you are not on shift. And perhaps...
I'm in there 16 hours a day.
Or
So
when
it's
you
all-
are not. Exactly. You need to sleep. And he needs to eat.
Well, if you can watch it while I'm sleeping, that would be beneficial.
I could do something like that.
Could we not hide the food?
That would not help us catch him.
Oh.
Also, there's a right lot of it. There is.
It would also make my job very inconvenient.
Oh.
well, I only scrub decks, so they might not
Perhaps
even
the
notice
boat
me
could
if
be
I wasn't
small.
there.
Or maybe we can take shifts, you know?
Like Gurn suggested.
Who?
It's Jim.
Gurn.
It's Jim.
Fine, Jim.
Jim
Such a
Mason.
plain name.
Mhm.
I knew many strong men by the name of Gurn.
is-
It's just, you seem like a Gurn to me.
Well, look, I'm not from. Where's you's from? We don't have the name Gurn.
Jim, since you're in this conversation, would you want to take a shift?
Well, how do you know I ain't the one stealing?
Because you're here having another piece of food.
I mean,
Well,
look,
if the food goes
I like
missing,
I like conversation, not so much investigations. That's
if the
not
food
really.
goes missing and you don't tell us who it was, we'll know it's you.
I suppose that's a possibility.
Or if no food gets taken, we'll also know it's you.
Whoa, what?
Because we'll know that you can't take the food because you'll be in that room.
Okay, but also maybe the person just doesn't take any food all the time.
It is probably because you were way too obvious and he didn't
I'm
want to be seen.
confused.
Don't worry, it's fine. We will be okay without Jim Mesa.
So, Jim,
Yeah,
are you the one taking the rations?
no.
I believe him.
I see no reason not to. All right, gentlemen, I'm going back to work.
What
Hopefully,
if you
be able
accidentally
to catch
put more
whoever is
food in
doing
by
this.
mistake? Is that? I mean, sometimes I forget where I put stuff.
Stone, I sometimes worry about you, my friend. Not all the time, just a little bit of time.
Oh, everybody forgets where they put stuff every now and again.
Yeah, but you don't put the food that you stole back in where from you stole it by mistake.
If you could accidentally cut up one extra carrot or something.
It wouldn't make more carrots, Stone. It's not like they reproduce.
I thought something was taken.
Oh my god.
Right then. So, anyway, my meal's done. I'm leaving. Bye.
That man was very nosy.
I still don't understand. So what? Has something been taken or something been put in?
Taken, Stone. Taken.
So what was? Yeah, but what was if Eric, accidentally took some extra carrots out and chopped them up and put them in?
He does
in the
not
stew?
seem like the man who would do that.
It might have just,
And would you
thinking about-
honestly think that he would go to the watch captain with his own mistake?
What have you forgotten?
I just pick up
Like
my...
I said, I mean, occasionally you put something down, you forget you put it down. Not that I've ever used a pen, but pens, occasionally, you put a pen down, you put it right in front of your face and it's disappeared within seconds. You know what I'm talking about?
Quill.
Yes.
Oh, Quill. Yeah, Quill.
You don't seem like the type of man to write things down, so I don't even believe this is a hypothetical that you could even be a part
That's
of.
what other people say. Yeah, they put their quill down and suddenly it's not there anymore. It's like behind their ear or something.
Yeah, I'm going to stand up from the table and take my plate, busk my plate, as it were. Just mid-conversation, just walk away.
I'm still
Right.
talking at him.
Alright, so, what's the plan here? Can we set up a watch or something? Or
Well, what is the plan? Like, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
I
Rajon?
believe the plan was for me to continue my work until it was time for me to sleep, and then Bjorn and Ricardo were going to take shifts watching it, and then we were going to throw a cat off the boat.
He
You're gonna have to repeat this anyway.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
he took us.
yeah.
You got to throw his laundry in the dryer or something.
It was
he
a
picked the
cat.
cat up. Yeah, he picked
Oh, it
cat
was a
up
cat? I
and
thought it
pushed
was his-
out of the room.
It
That's why
looked
I
like
said
laundry.
throw a cat off the boat.
yeah.
I was wondering why he said that.
It's a catfish.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Ah, it was a cat on the boat.
The cat was stealing their carrots.
Yeah.
It was a cat.
Did you catch our plan? Because it was the best plan ever. I don't think we'll be able to ever repeat it ever again.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I mean-
great because it's recorded for posterity, so Dave can just bring up the.
I mean, we'll try, but it'll
Instant
only be-
replay feature. I actually do have that. I could very easily make that happen, but that's besides the point.
So
Right.
battle plan is I'm going to clean up the kitchen, do my job, and then we are going to have Bjorn and Ricardo watch the storage room where the food is in shifts. I will leave it up to them how they do that, whether from outside or inside.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But
tell me,
I
are
will
you
be
watching it from the people who are watching it in shifts? How are you watching it? That's the only thing that's really relevant.
Is it a possibility that I could do it from the cover of darkness within the room?
Easily. I mean, like in the storage room, they wouldn't even.
Yeah.
Like there's no light in the storage room because you're not supposed to be in there at night, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like if he's cooking at night for whatever reason, he would bring in a lantern. But like
The idea is that I want to make it as inviting as possible, or like to make the assumption that nothing has changed, right?
yeah,
If
you can absolutely do that.
If you post someone out the front of the door to the mess hall, right?
You just discourage somebody
you just
from.
discourage someone from coming in. So like,
If you hide in the actual storage room with the food, there's just like, other than if they see you go in, which means they would have to be one of like the two people who would be milling about when you would do that. Like, yeah. Point being, yes, you absolutely can.
okay.
Yeah,
Won't even take a roll.
I would stay in the room as well when
All
it's
right.
my shift.
But I have
All right.
the hide skill.
I mean, that's great.
He wants
but
to use the hide skill so bad.
I have large finesse, large hide, and Reki's just like, you are so good at it, you don't even need to roll. I'm like, okay.
no,
good.
actually, Bjorn doesn't have to roll either. You're the way in which you are hiding leaves no room to fail at it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being pedantic. It's fine.
I'm just sitting
All
on a
right.
barrel in the storage room.
So
He's just like, I could eat a carrot right now.
another week passes. In the entire week, you don't. The door never opens. Like, you never see anybody. You don't fall asleep. And also, another week's worth of that much food is missing, Eric, at the end of that week.
Like, interesting. Was there like anything at all suspicious? Like, was there like weird sounds? Was there like, things that would put people on edge? Like, Like anything at all?
Ricardo for sure. I can't speak to Bjorn's character, but Ricardo for sure has been in many situations where, like, being on edge and the drop of a pin would set him off, you know, hiding from security or something, like, you know, even just waiting for somebody for a death threat that you got or something. I'm sure it's happened a gazillion times as a thief. You've been sitting in a room waiting for literally any noise to go off. And in the latter half of the week, when you haven't caught anybody, maybe you get increasingly on edge. And I mean, there's the creaking of the boat, you know, there's the occasional howl of the wind at sea. And you definitely are like jumping at everything, but there's nothing that is, you know, there's nothing that could be a person.
Here's what I would do. If I get halfway through the week and myself and Bjorn have no... Like, when do we notice the food was taken? Like, at what point? Because it's about halfway through the week. If it hadn't been taken up until that point, I would potentially powder, like, some stuff with flour. Right? And then after my shift is over, especially if I get paranoid, I would see if there's any marks or anything like that that's different from there.
So the way it'll work is it takes it takes another week for Eric to be sure that food is still going missing because it's such an incremental amount.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. If food became missing to the point where I asked them to watch, I'm going to take note of the food that I have and probably count it at the end of before I begin cooking.
And then maybe at the end of every cooking, right?
Yeah, like, so it's going to be very hard for me to not notice any amount of food missing.
Sure. In which case, a little bit goes missing every single day.
Okay.
Like during his shift?
No. Well, very different times during the day.
Interesting. So,
but several times overnight. Several times when you guys were in the storage room watching, it's between his last shift and his first shift that it goes missing.
So after about a week of this going on, right, you know, I would probably gather everyone together and I'm just like, now, this would be like private, right, away from everyone. I was like, friends, there is something otherworldly that is doing this because myself and Bjorn here had seen not even a hair, not even the fart on the wind. Like, there is literally nothing in there. I think it might be time to potentially...
I did notice one thing, though.
Oh, what is that?
Every time I would go on shift, there was flour sprinkled
on
the floor.
That was me. I wanted to see if, like, potentially it was some sort of voodoo man who could hinder my sight in some way, you know?
You could have let me know.
Wasted good flour for that?
Only a smidgen, for the sake of investigation.
Cleaning that shit up was annoying.
Well, thank you for cleaning it up.
That's what I do. I scrub the boat.
Perhaps it might be time to... The only thing that can come into mind is, like, we woke up on this ship, yes? From the island. What if another person, individual, made a deal with the witch?
And is invisible?
What if he gave up the ability of, you know, he said to them, I will give up being alive or something, right? If he gave up, like, the wording is such that he could potentially be completely invisible to everyone. Like, maybe not invisible, but maybe we just cannot see him.
Yes,
when you drink water, it turns to ash. Like, there is things that we don't understand about.
But then, if that's the case, he would have to be in the room already, because that door did not open.
Perhaps you just don't notice. Like, that's the thing. Like, we don't know. Like, we don't. For example, it could be our one-legged man friend. You know, we don't know what he is. You know, we don't know what his thing. Perhaps, you know, he just.
I mean, he eats every meal.
But maybe he has an extra person with him. We don't know. He's distanced himself from us.
I mean, it sounds plausible to me, Ricardo. Seem like a smart man. I mean, they're not taking that much. Maybe it's best just not to worry about it, though. I mean, I'm not sure that's much of an answer for the watch captain, though the watch captain did say that they would take care of it.
Yeah, and to that end, they have not said anything back to you, Eric.
There is one thing I wish to try, though. Perhaps maybe we can, I don't know, put a net around everything every night. Like, literally make it impossible to get into the barrels.
You mean seal the barrels?
I mean...
So, you're saying that a guy can, or something, can walk through walls or a door, but will be stopped by a net?
Well, I mean, I don't know. We need to set something to see whether it is being tampered with.
Listen,
I am very bored at work. This is the most interesting thing in the week, okay? Like,
I can seal the food barrels at night, so that they would make an unseemly amount of noise if someone tried to open them. It's going to make my job in the morning more difficult to unseal them myself. But if you think that will catch our mystery,
just for a week, you know, we just need to.
It's a really small person.
You mean like a child?
No, just like a really small person.
I tell you what, I'm going to forego my role here, and I'm going to spend time scouring the ship for looking for another place where people can live.
So I'm going to say that I'm going to search that room to see if there's any other way into it other than the door as well.
Okie doke.
I'm going to,
whether it be like a mouse hole or not,
steal the food containers.
Now I have a follow-up question then. If you are searching the ship, both of you, or well, one of you searching the room, the other searching the ship,
yeah,
and you're sealing the barrels, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just going to leave it at that, or are you also still going to do watch?
if the food's missing, I think we'd still do the watch.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
How much of an impact will this have?
What do you mean?
Well, how much of an impact will it have on, like, if the food keeps disappearing at the rate it is? How much of an impact will it have?
It's incremental, right? Like, eventually we'll get to the point where we won't have enough food because it's been already...
Well, I mean...
Sure, but it's the amount of food of one extra person.
Yeah, it's like...
On a vessel that didn't know how many people it had when it set out to sea.
Basically, we're not going to run out of supplies because of the amount that this person is taking. But it is enough that...
It's the spirit of the thing. There's maybe like a stowaway or something.
It's
we
the
have
game.
seen it, wouldn't we? It's probably an ill omen to look into like this thing. Probably just let it go.
It was an
Maybe
ill omen to make a deal with a witch, but you did it anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to throw in the water though.
He did want to throw her in the water.
But you still made the deal.
Only because of peer pressure.
Well, then, can we continue that so that you don't confound us with talk of your superstition.
Yeah, but
Wouldn't it be a
But you-
worse
you-
omen to leave some kind of roaming spirit cursed
it
wall
might be one of those
walker
things
on
that
the
aren't a poltergeist thing, whatever they are.
What if it's the spirit of the former chef and he's angry?
You didn't kill him.
still
He still
alive.
works.
I mean, he's swabbing decks. He's probably not happy, but even he admits my food's better.
Yes, well, that's what I'm saying. Superstition is silly. And we need to find evidence, my man. That is all.
But you've sat in there for a week, and it hasn't happened in front. I mean, it's maybe
And the
it's been
food
happening
is
in front
still
of you.
missing. So there is, like, if it was a rat, if it was anything else, we would notice.
But
I mean, unless
could
it's
it
one
be
of
one of you two?
It was happening
mean,
before we did it, Mr. Stone.
It still doesn't rule us out.
I mean, you've both been in that room like all week.
Would you like to sit in that room at night time instead of sleeping, Mr. Stone?
But no one asked me to.
I don't know why we didn't question this before, but why did we leave a thief to watch?
Oh, I see. You're going to
Stolen
string up-
goods.
you're going to
Just-
string up the man.
I'm not
who
accusing you of
gave
anything.
you the
I'm just
information. Oh, it sounds like you are.
well, the goods are still missing, and I know it's not me.
Are you trying to insinuate, Prylor,
or
that
we're all
perhaps-
friends here. I believe we can at least trust.
No,
our
no, no, no,
trade.
no. Let the man finish. He clearly has something on his shoulder, like a monkey. Get it off.
I'm just stating the fact that you're a thief, and you don't shy about that fact. And you're
No, I do. I told you because we were going to die. You would have no fucking idea if I was a thief. You wouldn't even know if I stolen from you. That is how much of a thief I am. Do you think that I would put myself in the position to allow you people to understand that I am a thief and then steal from under your nose and also take a role where I can steal from you? Because if that was the case, I certainly wouldn't just limit myself to fucking salted pork. You insult me.
for someone that doesn't talk about a lot about thieving. You just told me quite a bit.
I'm gonna spend a hero point to take his fucking belt.
Okay, you're gonna prove his point though. Like, as long as I want you to be clear that what he's accusing you of being is a thief, and your rebuttal is to steal in such a way that he can't notice.
Yes, and I do it. I hold his belt up, right? And I'm just like salted pork and fucking carrots. It is small time. Why would I bother? And why would I make a whole elaborate story in front of the people who know that I steal?
But you just took a belt. Is that not small?
It is to prove
Is
a
no
point,
one else
Stone.
impressed that he took the belt? I didn't even notice that he was wearing a belt.
Also, technically, your power doesn't let you steal belts. But I'm not going to get in the way of a
Well,
good
fine.
moment.
I would take his necklace or some shit. I don't know. Something small, meaningless. His keys.
Ring, etc. Yeah, whatever.
I turned to him and I'm just like, you know what? You can find him on your own. I will not be there. The food will still go. And then you'll say to yourself, oh man, perhaps I shouldn't have made ill omens of a friend. A companion that I once had
I'm
and
just
pissed
saying
off.
why. I'm just saying why are we bothering if it's not going to have much of a...
I made no accusations, Ricardo.
It is fine. I push his belt back into his chest. I'm just like, enjoy stringing up your pants, and then I leave.
Well, before he leaves, before you leave, I'm like, well, I don't see why we're bothering if it's only like a little bit here and a little bit there. It's not really going to make much of a bloody difference, is it? The journey.
Yeah,
If it's one person, I mean, why do we even care? It's cool. You're having more or less sleep than anything for nothing, really. A carrot and some salted meat. Who cares? Really?
Well, I mean, one person can kill you while you sleep, Stone.
What?
It's the principle of the thing, Stone. If we can't have everyone stealing, if everyone steals a little bit, we're all going to be out of rations rather quickly. You got to find people that are doing these bad deeds and punish them.
But hold me on. I don't know. Well, I just think it's a waste of like energy to just look into it. If they were that, I mean, if the people in charge were that bothered by it, they'd be looking more into it, wouldn't they? I mean, they've not done anything for like a week.
He makes
that's
a solid
true.
point.
And
Perhaps.
I'm saying you've sat in that room all night, both of you. So
I'm not in the room anymore. I left.
Well, I'm still saying both of you anyway.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but you sat in that room for the entire evening, whatever, night till morning, and there's nothing going on. So what? Oh dear.
Stone, you gave me an idea.
What?
Perhaps there's someone on the ship we don't know about.
The stowaway.
Like a stowaway.
That
didn't we
no,
just-
not a stowaway. Someone that the captain and the watch captains know about.
Yeah, but you would have still seen them, surely.
Not if they're hidden away. We haven't seen every cabin.
I'm confused.
Perhaps they have.
taken the food.
What's that?
They still would have had to take the food at some point. I didn't notice anybody while I was working. You didn't notice anybody while you were on shift.
I guess that's true.
I still think it's someone really small.
I suppose it could be. Though, I mean, I haven't seen any little people on the ship.
Well, still
I'm
gonna
gonna go look for the dwarf. Is there any like short people on the ship?
What was that specific question?
Is there any really short people? Is there any little people on the ship?
I think we're contractually obligated in a pirate setting to have at least one pirate tiny person.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get work somehow.
Well, I guess I'm gonna.
So yes, the answer is there's at least one.
It's Jeff. It's Jeff.
It's not Jeff. Jeff is a good guy. He's got a wife and
It's Jeff.
3 kids. He wouldn't
he's the only
jeopardize
small
his
person
pirating
on the
career.
ship.
His
It must be
privateering
him.
career.
If anything, his food, his normal food, would be more than enough to feed him happily.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like he
Oddly
gets
enough, Jeff
less
is actually
food.
an eating champion. He eats more than 3 other crew members combined, if I'd let him. That's strange.
Hence why he's still
I think
hungry.
he's got a hollow leg.
Hence why he's still hungry. You see, you just justified it.
But he'd still have to get into the room.
He's small.
Stone.
He can slip through the cracks.
Oh,
or
he's
something.
still got to open the door. He's small. He's not minute.
He is to me.
Well, I'm small to you.
Good point.
I
It's not
leave
you,
the
is
room.
I just argue with Stone about little people the rest of the evening.
Sure. So, before people accused each other of being thieves and stormed off in a huff, people had plans. Are you still going to engage any of them?
I am.
I have my curiosity, but I'm going to do it by myself and not report back.
Right. So you're gonna check the rest of the vessel for hidey holes.
Yeah, so,
And who else is doing
if
what
anything,
else?
I want to be friends with this new thief. You know, birds of the feather flock together, right?
Yeah, I'm still doing my thing.
Specifically
From
checking
my
the storage
recording,
room.
Yeah,
that
looking for.
I did not make him angry. I'm still going to steal the food.
Okay, so everybody's still doing the things that they talked about,
Yes.
despite the fact that we all hate each other now.
I hate no one.
We're gonna have
I
to
love
reroll
Eric.
new characters because you guys can't be a party anymore,
Stop it. We're still friends.
which is very convenient since we're switching systems anyway.
Stop it.
And I've decided that
family apart.
also it's going to be like horses and dragons in a like mountainous region and not pirates. So thanks for joining us, everybody. They've ruined the game.
Don't joke about that.
I'll joke about whatever the fuck I want. Right. So here's my question to Dave.
Yeah.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
Who's checking the entire ship.
Mm-hmm.
There are sections of the ship that you are not allowed to be in.
We've been over
Namely-
this wreckage. I will find a way to get into them eventually.
Sure.
What type
but,
of
like,
parts are they? Like,
the captain's quarters,
okay.
personal belongings, etc. It's not that you can't try, but are you sure you want to try over something so trivial? Because the price of failure would be, this thief was trying to steal from the captain, dead.
I would do my groundwork before that. For example, I don't have to go inside of the captain's quarters to know if there's another man inside of his quarters.
I mean, don't you though? Because you're looking for like hidey holes.
Yes, but if there was another man in there, it would be the door opened and a man I've never seen came out and he goes and comes.
So what my point is, you're not going to trespass in the captain's quarters. You're just going to spy on the captain's quarters.
Yeah, I'm going to observe.
Okay.
All
right.
I know my limitations, and I know that I'm on a ship where if I break said limitations, that's the end of me. So.
All right, that was the question because I just wanted to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what will happen. Bjorn. You find nothing out of the ordinary. Ricardo, you don't find anything particular or relating to this, but in spying on the captain, you do notice that he has quite a lot of private meetings, like a huge number with the watch captains and the quartermaster occasionally, which is something you probably already knew. But in just sort of milling about near his quarters and spying on it over time, like a huge number of the crew come and go.
Okay.
For one-on-one meetings, like not like 10 people go in and 10 people come out.
Okay, well, now I'm probably more interested in that than I was in anything else. So,
Well, finally, let me resolve this entire this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, son of Eric, sealing every barrel at the end of the day, and well, I suppose you technically, if you seal everything, you really only need to unseal what you're going to use. But it's still a tremendous chore.
You only have to do
incredibly exhausting. But doing it, food does not go missing that week.
Then I just make it part of my routine.
Smoke him out. I like it. Good plan.
It's I know this is hard to convey in an RPG setting. It is truly exhausting to keep this up. It's not a tenable thing to make it part of your routine.
Okay.
Because it's just so much more work. Now, yeah, getting help from Stone or whatever, or one of your buddies, that's fine. And you can now do it from now on. But just by yourself, you know,
Then
there is a
what
limit.
I'm going to do is I'm going to approach the watch captain.
Sure.
Report.
Is it Latisse again?
Latisse, yeah. Report that sealing the barrels seems to have stopped the issue, and that food is no longer disappearing. But to maintain being able to seal the barrels, stop the food from disappearing, and keep my doorbell duties, I will need at least I will need an assistant.
Kitchen.
And I ask for Bjorn, since as a blacksmith he has practice, you know,
Hammering nails.
and that kind of thing.
Making the straps for the barrels probably as well.
Yeah.
Have you told me this? Yeah,
No,
or are you
he's-
just gonna ask? Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, Latisse is gonna furrow his brow and sort of scratch his beard, and Sailor.
Yeah, watch captain.
I'm not sure I made this clear last time that we would handle the issue. I'm, you know, glad that you took some initiative, but I don't think I can, at least at this time, I don't think I can justify reassigning someone to, you know, taking them off of the rotation for this. I'm want to be clear that I'm not accusing you of this, but if I were to do it, it would look like you are just trying to get lighter work for your friend.
I'm not saying take him off swabbing duty, watch captain. I'm just saying split his time. He comes in the morning, helps me unpack all the food, goes back to swabbing, comes back in the evening. So maybe he spends a couple less hours swabbing, but looks to me like you got plenty of men swabbing.
You know, he sort of quirks an eyebrow at that. Well, chef, if it'll put your mind at ease and keep the good food coming, then we'll split his chores for now. But if I catch a whiff that he's just using the time to slack off, then we'll have to put the kibosh on it.
Good. Slap him on the back. Latisse, always taking care of me. Thank you much. I'll make sure he works hard. Don't you worry.
See that you do. Carry on. And he moves off. So
I'm glad you gave him a name.
That brings us up to the sort of the present where everyone has done their things. Dave, what is your Ricardo? What is your what do you want out of the captain and his meetings now? Like,
I don't
what is
know.
your
Like, you just whenever I get the opportunity to find additional information, just let me know it. Like, I'm going out of my way to do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be me like role playing it constantly. So, like, my curiosity is there. The ship working on the ship is boring. So I would go out of my way to find information if I could get at it. But I'm also not going to jeopardize my place here.
Well, so there's basically you will learn nothing else except for that there are secret meetings unless you ask somebody.
Well,
like,
I mean,
just
like
straight up?
maybe I would find a person who had a secret meeting and, I don't know, investigate their belongings. You know, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be me getting into the secret meeting myself, but perhaps maybe he has something with him that is worth investigating.
I mean, the quartermaster is one of those people.
Oh yeah,
and you're intimately familiar with him.
I would probably most likely see if I can go about finding more information from him.
So the thing about your position with the quartermaster is that, you know, as long as you're taking your time, there is like there's just no way you couldn't search everything that he has. And you won't find anything that talks about the secret meetings or what they're about, or hints at what they're about, and or there's nothing that like goes missing when he's off at a meeting and comes back when he's back.
So what is? Give me an idea here. What is the likelihood of me being like I want to? If I talk to the man and I'm like, I noticed you've been doing this. Will he like berate me and throw me off the ship? Like I'm trying to get an idea.
Probably won't throw you off the ship. But he, as we established in a previous session of role playing with this NPC, he doesn't like it when you. He berates you and uses the opportunity to like demean you and will make you do extra work whenever you ask questions that are like. He's definitely a man who's like, know your place. And that your place is following my orders, and why are you asking questions about things that like you're too smart for being his assistant, but also like he hasn't fired you. Okay. And he certainly probably like unless these secret meetings, which they make no attempt to hide, like they don't like sneak off, you know what I'm saying? Like the meetings are happening is the point, and other people on the crew, even if they're not suspicious of those meetings, have like seen it happen. So it's probably not the type of thing where if you ask, they're like, God, he knows, and then kill you. Okay. It's almost certainly not like that.
Then I would potentially, when he goes to this meeting, I want to eavesdrop on that meeting in particular.
So you do want to attempt to eavesdrop?
Yes, I will eavesdrop. If enough of this goes on and I get nothing from just, peaceful means, I will eavesdrop.
Okay, now tell me about your approach. What is...
Well, I can't be in the room. So,
right. So you're not going to try and breach the room at all. So it's just going to be like outside the door?
Outside a portcullis, maybe. On the side.
Well, the thing about the captain's quarters, in particular, is that they are part of that thing at the back of the ship that's all... you know in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
And they got the big window. So it's not like a porthole, but there is a window there. So it's just sort of a different thing. You still want to attempt to listen from that?
Yeah, sure. If I can.
You can. Let's make a roll, and if it fails...
If need be, I would take my time in requisitioning things to make that a possibility.
Let's make a roll first. There's really nothing that can help.
Well, I mean,
there's no microphones.
Tying myself to the ship, that sort of thing, right?
In this case, I'm not. In this case, the failure is not in the acrobatics of it.
Okay.
Because we've established that you can crawl along the outside of the ship.
Okay.
So, you're not trying to get in. That's where it might become, acrobatic, right? Like a breach.
Okay, sure. So what would you like me to roll?
On Wits Notice.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's the only thing.
What about Finesse Notice?
No.
Really? I mean, if I put myself in a position where I can hear properly,
You're not wrong that the issue here is hearing. It's just you're gonna be able to get to the best spot no matter what. So that's not
okay. Wits Notice. Bonus die or no bonus die? Has it been long enough?
Yeah, no, this is a different scene.
Fucking shit, dude. I got 3 tens, 3 raises, and 3 dice that don't do nothing. So like,
welcome to 7 Seas, where the dice are made up and the points really don't matter.
Well, for example, if I get my notice to 4, that would have been a lot more points. So
true. Also, if your notice was at 4, you'd be able to re-roll one of those dice.
Oh, actually, I can.
And also, you'd have rolled another dice.
Oh wait, no, notice is to 3, so you can't. Yeah.
So, excuse me.
And that means every single one that's rank 3, you just click that re-roll star. Perfect. I will do that right now.
You can hear listening on this meeting.
Okay.
From outside. It takes a while before there is another meeting between the captain and the quartermaster.
Yeah.
And you did specify that you wait for that.
Yeah, because it's not going to be like, where were you? I'll be like, he would
right. You want to wait until it's the quartermaster specifically. So it's going to be a while. And then when it happens, you come around. Like obviously you're not waiting on the side of the ship. You wait until you see that it's happening, and then you go. You take your time. When you get there and you start listening in, it's very muffled. You can't hear everything with perfect clarity. But as far as you can tell, the conversation that they are having is an update on the armory and its supplies, etc.
Okay.
The important thing that you learn from this conversation, it's all very benign, actually. Like it almost seems like it's just a standard officer's report. You did miss the first bit of the meeting, but when you come in, it sounds like they're just in the middle of like a standard report from an officer, especially one who has to do with keeping track of things. What you hear, though, that is extra juicy is that he says, sir, I just wanted to mention that more shot and powder went missing. And the captain says, that's very concerning. We'll look into it. I'm sure it's just some of the crew doing something, but we'll figure it out. And they sort of taper off, and then they have some sort of friendly banter. The captain pours him a drink before he leaves, and then he's gone.
Okay. That was useless.
Yeah, learning stuff is useless.
I mean, they didn't give me any idea for the frequency or the number of meetings that they do, right? You made hint that it was weird that they had so many, and this meeting didn't...
He has so many with a lot of people.
Yeah.
He doesn't have many with the quartermaster individually.
I understand, but this meeting that I spied in on didn't give me any clarification as to why he's having so many. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll redo it. I don't know. Okay.
I mean, it did indicate that food isn't the only thing going missing.
Sure.
And if he's having multiple meetings with multiple watch captains across the ship, perhaps food and powder aren't the only things that are also going missing. So perhaps, what was a minor problem of, a stowaway eating food is becoming a larger problem of, as I mentioned previously, one stowaway with enough powder and, desperation could blow up the ship and kill us all. So,
yeah,
there's that.
Well, the other thing is worth mentioning that, we did everything within our power to try and catch the guy. And, the only thing that worked was apparently putting it in a barrel. So, having said that, it's not like we can do anything to catch the guy otherwise.
Fair.
So, and it's not like we could have made the roll because, Wreckage wouldn't let us. So, there's obviously something here that's plot related that we're just sort of slowly getting to. So, I don't know, Wreckage. I guess if everyone's cool with letting time pass, I am.
That's a good question. First of all, Ricardo, do you tell anybody else of the PCs that shot and powder has gone missing as well?
I mean, I'm probably still pretty mad at Bjorn.
Sure.
But
do you tell Eric? Do you tell Stone?
I mean, I'd probably tell Eric. I wouldn't tell Stone because I feel like he would probably tell me about midgets again. So, maybe I just casually it's like, it's not only food that's going missing. So maybe we should put it in with the food. And that's about all I would say on the subject. Because at this point, I'm more interested in as to why the captain is meeting all these people more than anything. So.
And that's fair. And I probably thank Ricardo for letting me know and for, watching the food. Tell him that sealing the boxes managed to stop it. At some point, I'm probably going to go actually find Bjorn and tell him that I kind of voluntold him to switch jobs.
No, not switch, but help out and
do both.
Seal the barrels, yeah, in the morning and night or evening.
When I find you, I'm basically like, Bjorn, talk to Lisette, the watch captain, and told him that sealing the barrels managed to stop the food from being taken, but it's too much for old Eric to be doing every morning and night. So I asked if I could get you to help me, but
I mean, I could
he
do it
didn't
easily.
want to give you up from the shift for swabbing, so a couple of hours in the morning and evening to help me, and then the rest of the time swabbing. At least he'll get out of the sun for a bit.
So you really think sealing the barrels is what did it?
There's no more food disappeared for a week.
We also removed Ricardo from the food.
Listen, I know that Ricardo has a colorful past, and but I have to be honest. He seems like a man who, if he wanted to steal from us, food is not what he would choose to take.
But it dawns on Eric that you have just been told by Ricardo that also powder and shot has been stolen.
Yeah, but okay, so Eric is incredibly trusting.
Sure.
And, yeah, Eric is just not going to believe that Ricardo is the one that stole this stuff.
Wouldn't it be great if I made a deal with Wreckage where I'd just be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stealing all of this shit. Listen, and completely out of character, if it was any other character other than Eric, perhaps suspicion would dawn on Eric.
Okay, all right.
That maybe Henley, the notorious backroom dealer, was coming up with some way to just make a profit off of this.
Yeah.
But Eric believes that Ricardo is a good and possibly talented thief, but would never steal from Eric.
Possibly talented? Okay, now we have a problem.
I haven't seen you do anything other than steal a belt. All right, sir. I mean, I was
Possibly
very
some food
impressed
and
by
some
this
gunpowder.
stealing, but
Yeah.
Also, for all intents and purposes, you're a level 1 character, so you're a good thief.
I can spend hero points to
basically
do...
right now, Eric's. This is my thought process. Sealing the barrels has worked. I've stopped food from disappearing. Shot and guns are not my problem. If that's anybody's problem, it's Ricardo's problem as the assistant. Well, no, as the assistant quartermaster, that's his issue. So I would actually offer Ricardo my assistance if he needed it, trying to help him stop the shot from disappearing, since he helped me.
No, it is okay. I would not... I don't care.
It's worth mentioning that he has been having you keep the records, Ricardo. And, you can see that stuff has been good. You didn't think anything of it because he's been telling you and reporting and back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. He hasn't told you that the stuff has gone missing. Like, you assumed it was being used by him or something or in some official capacity because he was having you take the stock, report to him, and then he, didn't say anything, right? Like, he wasn't like, what the fuck do you mean we're down 1?
Yeah.
Also, he played that game with you earlier where he was like, I took the shot out of the room and made you count it again. Like, so you were thinking maybe it was just a test, like every single day is a test or something. But
at this point, Wreckage, my work with him is like, do this. I'm like, okay. I just do it. Like, I don't care or nor question nor look any deeper into
certainly
it.
Less. Yeah, it's certainly less work than swapping the deck.
Yeah, it's not curious. Like, I'm not curious about it at all. Like, I tend to think Ricardo runs from one curious thing to another, and right now his mind is filled with
the most curious thing is the captain right now.
Yes.
So anyway, so with talking to Bjorn, I basically, I ask, like, do you know a better way of sealing barrels? Is there anything that anything in your experience where you could help doing this? Would you even be willing to do this, or did I misspeak to the watch captain?
I mean, anything that gets me off of swabbing the deck.
Well, then
why not?
Glad to have you as part of the team, Bjorn.
Thanks for putting a good word for me.
Well, I mean, it really was way too much work for old Eric. It's quite tiring. I'm not sure how long I'd have been able to keep it up, to be entirely honest with you.
I mean, sorry, am I? Yeah. I mean, out of character, I'm even stumped at how they're doing it because you guys have been watching it, so it makes no sense how they've got it.
It's got to be.
It's obviously ghosts.
If it was ghosts, they could have kept stealing after you sealed the barrels.
Nope, sealed it with silver. Ghosts can't touch silver. I watched a show about it.
Are you telling me you're smelting the barrels closed every day and then unsmelting them every night?
I could do that.
I've got a blacksmith now.
Look, trick welding is a thing.
You can't just go around smelting everything.
Look,
I
man,
inlay the wood.
Of salt.
Yeah.
it actually
You wasted all the salt on the floor? We need that.
It actually wouldn't
Salt's
be too,
like gold.
It wouldn't be too hard to trick weld a barrel every night and then unweld it every morning. Like, it would take literally
it
no
really would
time.
Without any kind of welding material.
I get
Yeah,
that.
like,
but,
the hyper advanced welding stuff that we have today.
Trying to weld with a torch.
Look, if there is a man on this ship who can go invisible and trick a master thief and steal right under his nose, then there's a man who can trick weld a fucking barrel shut. Okay, like don't fucking do that shit.
But you're assuming that there's a man on board who can go invisible and can trick a master thief.
I'm saying he's more obscuring his.
I'm just saying, logically, mine
We've got borrowers on the
mine
ship.
makes sense.
So what you're saying is that no ship with black sails could possibly be. Anyway,
basically, I was told quite specifically by my 3 crew members or my three friends that they did not steal the food. And if one of them is lying, I demand a hero point. Haha, GM.
Well, the thing is, that resolves when you find out, not when it happens.
I mean, you could find out pretty easily by just uncorking the barrels for like a couple of nights and seeing if it resumes. Because if it does,
but still wouldn't see who's doing it. Like,
but how would Ricardo know? That
Anyway, as far as Eric's concerned, I've solved the problem. I'm moving on with my life.
So are you guys ready for the next time skip?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Another week passes ish. 6 days, 5 days. Your shift is asleep. It's the middle of the night when the bell rings and it's all hands on deck.
Okay.
Bjorn, Stone. Garcia, come on, we gotta go.
All right.
What's the matter?
Bell's ringing. It's all hands on deck. Oh man, I'm too old for this goddamn shit. Stone, you have to put on pants. Stone. I just grab his pants and throw them at him.
I know the fact you think I'm that thick, I would go without.
It's not thickness; it's whether you care or not. Like,
Yeah, I think Stone is so thick that he in fact doesn't undress for sleeping.
Wow.
I think Stone sleeps naked. That's what I think.
That's why he's got the best bum.
I think Stone sleeps naked.
What about Ricardo? Are you going to give us a little bit about you being sleepy?
I'm probably the most awake.
Yeah, I imagine Ricardo does not.
He's still brooding about being called a thief.
I'm still so edgy and you don't even get it, man.
No, it's not that. It's
You don't even understand.
it's a lack of trust between companions. You know, like imagine if on your deathbed you said to someone, "Oh, by the way, I'm a master thief," and then you didn't die, and then the rest of the life that friend who you told was just like,
But you're a thief, man.
3 years ago, my iPod went missing. Did you steal it?
exactly, right? Like
iPod?
that's exactly the situation that Ricardo was in.
You mean your 7-year-old broken iPod that didn't work? Why the hell would I steal that?
Exactly like,
How
it's
did
like,
you know it didn't
I
work?
had 4 jelly beans left. Where else is all these 4 jelly beans? Ricardo, master thief. You know, like fucking. Geez.
So, you guys go up on deck. Yes, I assume so.
There's a pile of carrots. Oh my god.
By the time by the time you get on deck, there's just a full circle of people sort of around the base of the mast, and the captain, who's quite tall, is holding a lantern in the center, and everyone's like way backed away. And there's a whole kerfuffle happening.
What do I say?
Because you're tall enough.
Yes.
There's a body.
Like strung up,
No, on the deck,
killed.
over a barrel. Yeah, dead, blood.
Is it
You can
someone
see the
we
blood.
Is it
You
someone
can't see
we-
from here.
I'll wade through.
All right. Do you guys use stone as a way to sort of follow behind?
Oh
And-
yeah,
all right.
we're ambulancing this shit. Like
Yep.
You guys suddenly find yourself at the front ring of people. Just as the captain's like getting through his spiel, it's like, "Right, this is when contracts and votes go out the window, boys." He's sort of like gesticulating wildly and throwing accusations. Anyway, Lutis is dead. There's a dagger in his back.
No, Lutis!
And there's a dagger in his back, and he's over the barrel. Like the front half of him is over a barrel.
Is that symbolistic in some way for pirates that I'm not aware of?
No, there's no
it's
symbology
bad.
here.
Because you
Bad
use the
omens.
you use the turn of phrase over the barrel, and I thought that
Does he
maybe
have his
that-
pants on?
Yes, Jesus fucking Christ, Brylor.
Prowler good. I mean,
He saw that I had sex with him, so I killed him.
Still warm. He was over the barrel. I don't know, man.
Right. Okay, what is the captain saying about this?
He's suspending the crew's ability to vote until the killer is caught and confesses. He makes no mention publicly that there has been food and shot and powder gone missing.
Is it obvious from the body how he was killed? Can we see that?
Yeah, he's stabbed in the back.
Okay.
There's a dagger in his back. He's slumped over the barrel because there's a dagger in his back. He's bleeding out of his back. There's a dagger in his back.
is it one of the standard issue daggers?
No.
Is it a cursed spindly dagger?
Oh, is it like sands of
Sacrifice?
time?
Yeah,
Like,
is it like I had a curse? The curse says I have to kill a man every 6 months.
Oh, it's
That's not so bad. I mean, as curses go.
So
It's
is
a
it a fancy rondelle or a swervy dagger, or it's not a standard issue dagger?
It is not like a piece of shit that's just been sharpened and is good enough. It's like a nice stiletto that like a thief would carry for assassinating people.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
look.
bad omen.
I look at
Bad omen for
Frylor.
someone to be-
I look at sorry, Bjorn. I'm just like, don't look at me like that.
It's a bad
Accusing-
omen for
for someone
Accusing
to
you
be
of thieving is one thing.
stabbed in the back and left over a barrel. Bad
That-
omen.
Is it?
Yes.
That's a bad omen.
Yes.
Is
No.
it a bad omen?
I wouldn't.
Because I thought it was just Tuesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't accuse you of this. So can I? Since I'm
The captain
like-
goes further.
okay.
If anybody reports on a man who turns out to be a killer, and we confirm it, that man will receive the killer's share.
Oh, that's not a good plan.
Further, until we find who done it, no more lunch.
Well, I am glad I have a personal stash of carrots and salted pork that I can get into.
And gunpowder.
Yeah.
And finally, if and we do make port or ship or board before we know who's done it, ain't no one going to get leave or be allowed to leave till there's justice. And the crew is, some of whom are in a groggy state of being half awake, and others who are in the middle of their shift when they found this Lettice. No one raises any complaint vocally at this moment.
So I got a question. Being a blacksmith and
Sure.
kind of really into it, and
Yep.
liking
You
different
go to all
types
the
of
cons.
daggers.
You go to all the
Yes.
cons, yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
would I know where this dagger possibly was forged from? Say it be like
Yep. No question.
Parisian or
There's absolutely
Perin-
there's no question that it's Parisian.
You just like, I wouldn't have accused you, and then all of a sudden you're just like,
exactly. I keep that
It's
to
just like,
myself.
is
Can
Rickard, are you just
Can I
making this
tell how long
session?
he's been dead?
Uh,
Or do we know how long he's been dead?
I mean, like, the wound hasn't stopped bleeding yet, which I like.
He's
that
still
means-
alive.
No, he's dead. I mean, it means that
Yeah.
like rigor mortis hasn't even set in, that type of thing. Like, the body's systems haven't shut down. This body was found probably minutes after he was killed, and all hands on deck were probably called a few minutes later. Like,
So,
this is
nobody on deck saw anything.
is that what you said?
I
Yeah.
say that.
The captain sort of stomps over to you and he says, "Well, anyone?"
Captain, might I offer a suggestion here?
We're answering another question. We're answering another sailor's question right now, sailor. Were you on deck?
No, I was sleeping. But in order to answer this question more effectively, perhaps you should interview everyone individually.
No. Why? Sailors, who was on deck? Who's on third shift? And hands go up. It's the people who don't look tired. 'Cause
Is
they
it
didn't wake up
the
in the middle of the night
legged,
for this.
one-legged Pete? Is he in this list?
No, he's in second shift.
Convenient.
So and he starts. Well, just seen anything? It's like, well, someone sheepishly steps forward and says, "Lettice is the watch captain, and he was the one watching the deck. He's the one who would have seen something. We was just swabbing and rigging and cetras, and once we saw him there with the daggers, that's when we came and got you, Captain." And the captain's like, shouts a slew of obscenities at the sailor, and the sailor's all scared and trembling. He's like, I don't believe you saw nothing. He's like, I saw nothing, so I swears. And this is sort of what will happen, I guess, is the captain will shout at people, and people will say they didn't see anything, and they will seem genuine in that, as far as your ability to appraise people, each of you. It's like they'll still just seem genuinely like they found him dead. And the captain is obviously furious. And, you know, some of his measures maybe aren't the best measures for actually capturing this guy. Some of these are the captain being angry.
Are we aware that Eric, son of Eric, was talking to this particular watch captain?
Yeah. I mean, unless, Eric, you want to say that you didn't say that to anybody.
I mean, I would have told them that. Well,
it sounds like he was very
would've
open
told
about what was
Bjorn
happening.
Yeah, I mean, I would have told Bjorn that I talked to Latisse about getting him on the shift. So
Yeah.
I would have assumed that, like, I would have had no reason to obscure that information.
Yeah, so I will speak up at this point. I'll be like, Captain, are you aware that this watch captain was in possession of information about the potential stowaway that we have been looking for?
The captain will swivel on a heel and eye you angrily. Before he has a chance to respond, of course, there's murmurs through the crew. It's like, a stowaway. Obviously, it was a stowaway who done it. None of us would do it. You know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of that sort of echoed and multiple times. And he says, "Yes, sailor, I am aware. Latisse reported to me, as he said he would, about your little gang's supposed stowaway. We combed the ship. There ain't nowhere for a stowaway to hide. Ain't no head unaccounted for. The only things gone missing are gone missing because someone is a thief. And that person," he then addresses the whole crew, like turning away from you, "is also probably a killer. And it's one among you. Find him. But until you do, you all suffer."
Wow, he's going to get voted off Captain E as soon as we hit dock, and if we find out who it is.
He suspended the right for votes until the killer is found.
Yeah, but if we find him, his captaincy might be at an end.
Potentially.
All right. Well, maybe I turn around to the rest of the crew and I'm just like, does anyone know why they would want to kill this man? Does anyone harbor any ill thoughts about him? Has he pissed off someone in the third watch?
At this point, the crew sort of, like oil separating in water, like the third watch and everybody else have sort of naturally gravitated into a separate part of this like giant circle, because now the crew is like, it's getting pretty mobbed up about this. Like, let's find the killer and get this over with. And so third watch is sort of naturally separated out, and they become 1/3 of the sort of or the circle around Latisse.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of look to each other, and like, you know, they're whispering amongst each other, and it's like, and finally, like, someone steps forward, is like, "No, I don't think it. I mean, he's a watch captain, so he drives us hard and makes sure we do his work. And some folks is kind of lazy sometimes, but that ain't no reason to kill a man."
I mean, people have been murdered for much less than this.
Well, granted, sure, in some hellhole slum somewhere, but on a pirate ship where we're all hard workers and we're 4 weeks out, that don't make no sense. Kill a man over something so petty he's been doing for 4 weeks.
Will the captain allow me to get close to the body?
Are you asking vocally or moving up to the body?
I mean, I might make my intentions known that I want to go to the body. I wouldn't. I'd probably just move up to it.
The captain will draw his sword
But
at you.
Okay, and I was like, would you allow me to once over the body with my eyes?
Absolutely not.
How else?
The bodies.
Okay.
The body's going to ship doctor. He's the only one who's going to get a look at it. He's going to prepare it, look for any signs of what might have happened, and then we're going to have a funeral.
You know, since he has the sword at me, in a way, Wreckage, I'm going to maybe I'll lean in a little closer to the captain, and I'll say, maybe this has something to do with that contract you have. And I'll raise an eyebrow at him. Silence. I got him.
I think getting murdered by an NPC on the 4th week might be a record.
Yep.
No. I mean, that is to say, I've been in a position to kill Dave
Plenty of times, yeah.
for his loose tongue on like week 2. In Sin Eaters, he almost actually did die in week 2. Actually, in Sin Eaters, someone did die on week 2.
Yeah.
But no, actually, this pause is just another one of those my questions with the mechanics. So since we're gonna be done here pretty soon, and also, you know, this is the episode where we're going hot and loose with the rules, I'm gonna say that Ricardo, you take 3 wounds as he socks you in the gut with like the hilt of this blade.
Okay, sure. I have a Duelist Academy trait, Wreckage.
Sure.
That
which
allows me to, you know, not take damage.
You are not wielding a blade, so it does not trigger.
But
it says specifically when wielding a fencing sword in one hand and nothing in the other, and you are wearing a long cloak, that is when it triggers.
All right,
you are not drawn and ready.
Okay, fine.
He's cheap shot. He's sucker punching you. Like
all right. I take 3 damage then.
I'd like to activate my virtue.
Sure.
Which is
activate your virtue when another hero takes wounds to prevent her from suffering those wounds. You take 1 dramatic wound instead.
You're going to step in front of the captain as he socks me for a non-dramatic wound?
Yep.
I don't think you... I would love for you to do this, but I don't think you're in a position to physically move over before a sucker punch happens. Is just sort of the...
You know what? Maybe you make a move, right?
A situational limitation that I don't think makes sense.
I like the idea that you try and like jump in, and I maybe like put my hand up as I got socket punched or whatever, and I'm just like...
Well, no, he's following it immediately with words.
Okay.
I like this. So he goes to sucker punch Ricardo. You know, he's just supposed to like punch him with the pommel of the weapon, you know, right in the gut, show him, you know, don't be a dumbass. And Stone comes up and actually pulls Ricardo out of the way. So instead of getting punched in the stomach with the pommel of the weapon, Stone actually gets slashed by the blade across the arm.
I just don't think that Stone can move paranaturally fast enough to stop a sucker punch.
Well, just remember, we were all walking behind Stone. So Stone was in the front of the line, which meant to get closer to the body, Ricardo had to like basically just come even with Stone and was having...
Well, no, he walked all the way up to the captain in the body and then was at cutlass length with the captain. So he's in the center of the circle and everybody else is sort of... That's... the issue, right, is that I don't think like in this case he's getting sucker punched.
Well, the argument could be is that I was right behind him.
You know what? Here's how I'll let you do it if you want to do it this way. You take the dramatic wound because he's sucker punching you, or like he pulls back to sucker punch you, and Stone just grabs the blade.
Sure.
Like in the backswing. And so the captain sees him or that he is just prevented from doing so.
What do I have to do to activate my virtue? Do I have to spend a...
No, you don't.
Does it say anything? Oh yeah, it doesn't say anything like that. So you take the dramatic wound, grabbing the blade, and the captain wrenches the blade out of your hand, which is again the dramatic wound on the hand. He says, "What's the meaning of this, sailor?"
Is he asking me or him?
Stone. Okay. He's wheeled around to Stone. I'm entitled to corporal punishment on a sailor who impugns me honor. I'm allowed to hit a man.
I don't think he was impugning your honor. He was trying to help your honor.
He swings the blade with Stone's blood around.
Because I didn't hear him say the other thing about the thing. I just heard him say, maybe if I could have a look at the body, we might be able to figure something out. But yeah.
Right. So he swings the bloody blade around to gesticulate at Ricardo and says, I do not need no sailor insinuating things that he don't know about. My contract and the contract we all share and the job we're all doing has nothing to do with murdered watch captains. There's a thief and a liar and a killer and a sailor who is sticking his neck where it doesn't belong in other people's business.
Well, answer me this, Captain, then. Was he on the previous crew?
I will answer no such question, and I am not required to do so.
Well, I think you're in the boat as everyone else here. Just saying. You're not above with what you've just said. You're not above the same reason.
At this point, the other watch captains have their cutlasses drawn, and they are moving to the captain and moving you away from him. Like, not like physically, but like they are trying to corral you away.
I will look at everyone else, the rest of the crew as well. With what I just said, you know, the fact that how do we not know that it's one of them who have been elected into the position?
If you need a motive, then the only person here with any secrets to hide is you and your former crew.
Okay, so Dave is gonna be killed, I guess.
What?
Yeah, well, okay, so
here's how the chips have fallen down, Wreckage.
Right, you have reason to suspect him. You've now accused him, the captain, openly, who's still in a position of authority, of being the murderer or being suspected for murderer for hiding things from the crew. If he is, he's going to kill you. If he isn't, he's going to kill you for, questioning his authority and accusing him of things that you have no evidence of.
All right.
You've really misstepped here, but I'm not actually going to kill you. That's not fair.
I don't think I've misstepped. I think what's happened here is we're not given any information, and we're supposed to find an invisible ghost man who steals things. It's almost impossible. The only thing that isn't clear here is the intention of the captain and why he's having all these secret meetings. And I've done my best to try and find that information. I've put myself out there, and I'm being fucking killed because I approached the captain to see if I can. If he's not part of, like,
but
I attempted to do it like talk to him under my breath, and he's already pulled
in front of everybody. There's no seek. This is the worst possible time. I even asked you earlier if you were just going to ask him, and made it clear that it probably wouldn't come with a reprisal. But now there's a murder, and you're not just asking him about his secret meetings. You're saying these secret meetings that I've never brought up, that I've been suspicious about, are probably why this guy is dead. Like that's what you're saying.
Oh, well, if you want to kill my character, you can go ahead. I guess.
I'm certainly not going to kill your character, Dave.
Well, then, what's this whole conversation about? Then, what are we doing this for?
At this point, the captain is going to order you to be arrested. Is anyone in the party going to interfere or speak out against that? Or Ricardo, do you have anything to say?
Well, I mean, no. At this point, right, I have no means of retort, right? It's not like the crew inherently trust me. It's not like like my companions don't trust me. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm up a shit creek without a paddle.
Eric trusts you.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
And
Stone trusts you. Just saved your life. Well, thinks he saved your life.
Ignoring the fact that they're coming with cutlass at us, like I go up to Stone, whose hand is now bleeding profusely, and like I start wrapping it and treating it so like he does not die from this like incredibly bleeding hand.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, Captain, I know Garcia talks quick and perhaps gets himself into more trouble, but he was only trying to help, Captain. He couldn't have murdered this man. He was with Bjorn, Stone, and I, and the rest of First Shift down in the hold. He just woke up. He's just trying to help, Captain.
Helping by slinging accusations with no evidence at the captain and the crew and the officers. He's being arrested not under suspicion of this man's murder. He's being arrested for simple, mutinous behavior. He'll be flogged and punished. Get some respect beaten into him.
Well, then, Captain, I asked to share his punishment.
No. Then what about the shots that are missing? What about the food that is missing? All of this that we've come to you with information about, and that you've said that you're going to do anything about. The man who is dead was the man we reported this to, and all of a sudden, that is going out the window. The other thing that comes to mind is that he had meetings, all meetings with everyone, and in fact, the people of power had a lot of meetings with you. I simply asked if this might have something to do with that, and you've pulled a cutlass on me, almost confirming my suspicions, if that is in fact the case. Because you are part of...
I am not a simple man who doesn't know the art of subtext, sailor. When you say those things, you are making accusations, and you have no evidence. I told you that we performed an investigation. I told you that we found nothing out of place. I told you that we suspect a sailor of being a thief, and now I have a sailor who's a spy and cares, for some reason, about the officers meeting with their captain. A totally normal occurrence.
I don't know what to do at this point.
Like,
honestly, attempting to find information is impossible on this ship. You know, I do my best. I try and put myself out there. I try and solve these riddles that have been put forward. But, yeah.
You've made a lot of progress.
No, I don't think I have now.
Well, it's sort of all come to a head in a bad way.
So Stan will say, well, being bandaged, I'm like, what is this mission that we're on? We're away from port now. No one can tell anyone else. It's just us and the crew. Surely you could actually tell us what's going on or what we're doing, because if this murder is related to whatever thing we're on, then it's in the best interest for the crew to know, surely.
There are murmurs of agreement in the crew. You signed a contract that says I don't have to tell you what the main course of this little escapade is.
Right, but what have you got to lose now? We are in the middle of the sea. There is no one who can report to anyone else. Whatever I'm thinking. Hang on, let me think. Sorry, I'm struggling. There's no one who can go up to an oil house and accidentally let it slip that like there's a bajillion gold on a beach or something. Not that I know that number. More than six gold on a beach.
No, it's more than 6 and then a bajillion. The captain sheathes his cutlass and says, "Look, I'll be honest with you, mates. I can't tell you what the mission is because that's my contract with our benefactor. Told him I wouldn't tell the crew."
But surely we'll find out when we get there. Unless this... I don't know. Look, right, the thing is, we've also been looking into this things disappearing, mainly with our friend the cook here, Eric. And from what we understand, unless the person's about yay high and can slip through cracks very easily, we have no idea how things have been disappearing because we've been watching that store. Well, my friends have been watching that store for like two weeks straight, and the only way it got stopped was when the cook closed the barrels so that they couldn't get inside the barrels, and that was it. So I assume that the same person who's been stealing, nicking things from us, is the same person that possibly encountered him, and the only thing is someone about six inches high.
I absolutely agree that the thief is likely the killer. I have no qualms with that. But I don't know who the thief is. You don't know who the thief is. I struggle to see your point.
We've been watching the store for all day, all night, and no one has ever entered it, and still food would vanish. So, like I said, unless someone's about yay high who can just not appear in our field of vision, or they're completely see through like a bit of glass, then I don't know how it works.
I think what he might be saying, Captain, is that perhaps there's something supernatural, some element,
maybe something.
A very tiny person.
I look at the midget.
Jeffrey ain't that small.
I don't want to put words into Stone's mouth, but we have been watching the storeroom, and I can't make sense of it, Captain. I don't know how they were getting in. I don't know how they were taking the supplies. We watched it all day and all night. The Parisian even put down some little bit of flour to see if there were any movements or tracks. Nothing. The only thing that stopped it was, like you said, sealing the food in barrels. So I don't know, Captain. I don't know what kind of thief can get in without being seen, leave no trail, but then get stopped by sealed barrels. But that's beyond me. The only one I know who can hopefully find a thief is the Parisian. You can't find nobody in jail.
Now, what's this about him being able to find a thief? He was already trying to find a thief, and he didn't.
He's got good eyes, you see.
He's a Parisian. You know about them, Captain.
I just sort of scorn my face. I'm just like...
I happen to notice it's also a Parisian dagger in my captain's back.
Yeah, but that's like saying, he's wearing boots.
I hate to say it, Captain, because I hate to admit my own pauperisy, but 4 of us came to your ship with just the clothes on our back.
Very well. Very well, very well. Y'all get to the bottom of the murder. The orders stand. Food, the rations, the share. I'm certain that it is a member of the crew who is thieving and killing. And as for this Parisian's loose tongue, slinging suspect at the officers and captain who've just lost one of their best mates, I'll overlook it this once, on account of your hard work up until this point. But I expect no more looking in to missing food, when what we ought to be doing is looking in to a dead man and his killer.
But we looked into the food before there was this.
I'm going to go ahead and grab Stone's hand and... Yes, sir, Captain.
I don't think he understands how time moves.
Also, Wreckage, I would like to use my ability, Miracle Worker.
Miracle?
Miracle Worker.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For a hero point in a raise. So I realize that we're not in a place where I can...
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay, what does it say? What's the rest of it?
I can heal a dramatic wound.
Got it, just do it. Spend the hero point.
So I'd like to heal his wound.
Uh-huh.
Kind of in front of the crew and the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And since the captain has just tasked us with investigating this murder, I'd like to go, Captain, back in my homeland, I was kind of known as a doctor and a healer. I've seen a lot of wounds. Would it be possible for me to look at the body, see if there's anything there that might help the medical team determine, so we can begin our investigation before the site gets too muddled? And Bjorn's an expert blacksmith. Might know more about the blade if you got a closer look.
Fine. You can take Bjorn down to the doctor. Follow him down when he grabs the corpse.
Thank you very much, Captain.
Right then.
Stone still believes it's someone about 6 inches tall.
Y'all get to solving this if you wants to eat. If you want an extra share.
I like the concept of Stone just like walking around the ship, like just like looking in all like the tiny little portholes.
There's a really tall dude just like crouched over, like looking,
like, crawling through the ship, like tearing apart like tiny little boxes.
Well, see, all we got to do is draw a little string about 6 inches up all around the hallways, and they won't be able to get through. So, the doctor's going to come up and grab the body and take it below. Ricardo and Stone, how are you guys reacting to what's transpired so far? What are your interactions with the crew like?
I'm not
if any?
going to do anything.
Okay.
You know, it's so far it looks like all they're attempting to do is make the one of the only Parisians on board the fall guy for this. So I want literally nothing to do with this.
Well, you put yourself in that position.
Well, not really, no. Everyone is apparently known in Perezia for stealing now, so... And on top of that, the Parisian blade, and the fact that we're not dealing with vastly intelligent people, they're going to make their own assumptions. And I'm going to do my best to not be a part of whatever lynch mob gets made when people get fucking hungry. So that is my result, Wreckage.
That's a totally valid course of action. So from... snooping, you're going to go into like making as little bit of a fuss or calling as little attention to yourself as possible.
Yeah, I'm still going to watch the other watch captains because I'm convinced that this is like some sort of, well, now the share's bigger. That is the only motivation that I would have here, because why would a person kill someone? It's because money or sex or whatever, and I doubt it's sex.
I mean, there is a female watch captain.
Sure, but I also don't think that the only thing we don't know about the ship is what's at stake. We could be like getting pittance. We could be getting like 0.000% of whatever the fuck their score is, and he can't tell us because he apparently
everybody on a privateer vessel has equal share. That's the contract you just signed.
Well, he's also telling us that we could be potentially going in for. Equal share of nothing. Like he could be gaining land or whatever. Like there's fucking tons of stuff on here that we're not entirely sure of. And the fact that he's being coy about this means that I doubt everything this man has to say and all of his companions. So
all right. Now, out of curiosity, personally, did you doubt? I guess you don't have to tell me. Did you doubt when he after having the crew ask for the means of the contract? Did you doubt when he said he's contractually obligated to not say what the contract is? Do you think that was a lie?
I don't. I'm a thief. I'm a thief, right? I don't hold water to contractual obligations, right? And he was a former pirate. I doubt he has any. His only intent for not telling us is because there's something that he wants to hide. I couldn't give a shit about his contractual obligations to a mystery man that we've never met, nor will probably never meet. I don't care about how much money he's supposed, like the share that we're supposed to get. Like, none of that shit makes any sense. What does make sense is that he's hiding something, and that is the weakest fucking excuse you could ever possibly have to stop people from being like, well, there's a murder here. And it's like, well, what's the contract for? Because this guy might be murdered because of that. And it's like, I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Pirate contractual signer privilege. Like, you know what I mean? Like
privateer. And contracts keep privateers off of the gallows.
I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to mention, though Eric wouldn't have, that moments before that time, he literally said, now is not the time for contracts, and suspended every provision of the contract.
Yeah.
Making the contract essentially null and void to include his own.
I don't know about that. We can get into the legalese.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Later.
He's a humongous hypocrite, right?
We have a contract that guarantees us share, guarantees us 3 hots and a cot, and guarantees us the right to vote.
And he took away one of your hots and your right to vote. And will give
share. And
if you're the killer,
those things he can do via the contract. So he threw out our contract with him, meaning that we are now a pirate crew and can murder him. And
whoa! Yeah, Eric,
not something Eric would say.
Certainly, but I don't. I also am not sure that the other hypothetical character who is saying these things is right. It's certainly a thought that he could spread amongst the crew if this hypothetical character were so inclined. But for those of you who might be taking the pulse of the crew after this, in the wake of it, there isn't a lot of suspicion pointed towards the captain. There is a lot of grumbling, but this sort of, what's the word I want to use? This sort of, like when drill sergeants make the whole everybody run because one guy fucked up. what's that called as a punishment? There's like a word.
Group punishment.
There is a more specific word.
Corporal?
It's. I don't think it's corporal, but that's definitely the right vein. Anyway, words don't really matter. The point is that thing like corporal punishment only does the whole group. The rest of the crew, at least the experienced sailors, seem to think that this is part and parcel with this kind of crime. They don't consider his reaction to be overblown. Although there are a lot of crew members who are upset and complaining. They're not like, what captain could possibly consider doing such a thing? In all my years, I've never seen blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? But let's cut to the you're bringing the body for the doctor. And Bjorn is going to maybe take a look at the knife. So the doctor will take the body into the room where that guy has been sick and being kept care of. Because like all of his shit's in there. Like it's ready. You know what I'm saying? Like it's,
Oh, is it him?
There isn't necessarily I mean, I don't know. Is it him?
I've seen both of them. You tell me.
What do you mean?
I've seen both of them. I've seen the sick man and this watch captain.
Right. No, they're not the same person. Is that what the question was?
Yes, that
Yeah,
was.
well, that's
what
why I
the
thought he
question.
was being taken into that room.
No.
That's where all the medical stuff is, because of the sick man that can no longer get healed.
Right. This man is now been sick for 4 months too. That's a really long time. Not 4 months, 4 weeks. Sorry, we haven't skipped that far ahead. We are at a month at sea. And first person's dead and sick guy is still sick. And that's where all the doctor's shit is, because he's been tending to this guy for 4 weeks. So he brings the body in there. He will immediately start stripping the body down, to be naked. It is a body. He's going to examine it. There isn't much by way of forensics, or he's going to look for like bruises and shit for a scuffle. He's going to look for other like cut wounds. What, if anything, are either of you trying to accomplish, like, while he's doing that? Are you going to ask him questions? Like, what's your line?
Well, I would assume that, once the doctor takes the blade out, we, give it to Bjorn to look at.
Take a look at it, yeah.
It's very nice. It's well maintained. It's fancy. Like it's not just I needed a stiletto, so I bought a stiletto. It's like I needed a stiletto, and also I have money going spare to make sure that
any
it's
mark
got
of like
frills and etc. on
lower,
it.
if you will, and any signature type thing from a certain blacksmith or anything. It's just a high quality.
Yeah, no, not like. And that actually stands to reason. For the most part, a blacksmith who makes high quality daggers to be put into the backs of people isn't necessarily stamping his product with his label.
It's
even
also
if he's
worth pointing out, if the man
I
took
would.
that much pride in what he was using to murder someone with, unless it was intentionally subversive, he would take it with him. There's no forensics in this day and age.
Right.
So unless he wanted that point to be made, I doubt.
So it's possible he left it there intentionally. It's also possible that the individual does not care about his stiletto.
Or maybe it was stolen. I don't know.
Maybe a thief has a stolen dagger.
Yeah, but you'd steal something. You'd steal something like that work. Expensive only to use it to murder someone. I don't know.
Who knows? But this is certainly clues. Is there anything else that you're looking for, Bjorn?
I just wanted to know, like, pretty much I knew it was from Pereza, so that's, and if there's no way to notice the craftsman or narrow down.
It's well maintained. I will say that the other thing that you could probably ascertain from it is that it is old, despite being well maintained.
Is it an oiled blade?
Oiled?
Yes. Like, as in, you oil a blade so that it can go into a sheath easier, right?
No.
So that okay. Well, then it can't. Okay.
It's a stiletto, like the really thin, short dagger. So the kind that you would have on a belt loop, even like it doesn't necessarily have a sheath.
Well, how sharp is it? Does it have any cracks in it? Is it chipped?
No, it's well maintained. He is able to tell that it is old, not ancient, but not like brand new. We're talking maybe 2-3 decades since it was forged, but still excellently maintained. Certainly not. There isn't a sign that it's been used to kill people a lot.
Would I know if there's any magical properties at all or anything?
Magic isn't real as far as you're concerned. Well,
I
it
know,
is real,
but
you've been cursed recently. But until that point, magic wasn't real, and magic blacksmithing wasn't
like
a specialty
superstition type even.
Superstition. It's made to look like polished silver, but it isn't silver. Like it isn't 100% silver, and silver is sometimes considered a supernatural thing, but not in any sort of relevant way. Like it's not like Lutece was a werewolf.
Lutece was definitely a werewolf.
Lutece is a werewolf.
We solved it.
He had a tragic backstory. Remember?
Let's move on. We got it.
What about you, Eric? What are you gonna? The doctor is sort of like looking for other signs of a scuffle or whatever.
I mean, that was my plan too. I wanted to see before the dagger was removed if we knew like the angle of attack, because Stone is very convinced that it was from a tiny person. Was it a stab up, a stab in, or a stab down?
So the blade went into Lutece's back, just next to the spine, between the shoulder blades.
Mm-hmm.
And the blade itself was angled up, like somebody who was
an overhand stab.
the same ish height of Lutece. He could have been shorter than Lutece by a little bit, but basically, like into the back.
6 inches.
Not a 6-inch tall man.
It jumped off the rigging with the blade and
then
height,
right.
And
well, see, the thing is, but if he had done that, he would have like traveled down Lutece's back like a pirate rogue, right? In the canvas.
Was there any ectoplasm on his body left over from the ghost?
Oh, tons. Also, his eyes are red and flaming.
Ghostly goo all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
There's some sort of ectoplasm all over him, and his pants are down.
Did anyone see the scary ghost?
I mean, so other than that, and kind of trying to figure out when he died, which we kind of put at 15 minutes or so before the watch found him because they're terrible at their job. Just any other signs for like scuffle or was he like knocked down, like were his pants scuffed at the knees? Did he have bruises behind his legs?
So there is in fact no other signs of a scuffle.
Okay, so he was just happy slappy and then got stabbed right between the shoulders.
Yeah, and that's the doctor's conclusion, is that this was literally like a stealth video game assassin kill takedown, like just like in the back, and he died immediately. The captain notes that like the blade pierced his heart through the back, so like he was dead instantly. And crumpled onto the barrel that he must have been walking up to or towards or past. And also that accounts for how much bleeding he did, because the heart was pierced.
What exactly were this guy's duties?
He is a watch captain. He is watch captain of the third shift. That means that the people who are out on deck at night steering the vessel through the night, he is responsible for making sure that they are doing their job. He's the go-between between them and the captain for complaints or criticisms or reports.
No other responsibilities?
Well, he also had the responsibility of overseeing the chef, even though the chef isn't awake and working during third shift. That's just one of those things that sort of like got, shuffled over to him in the not super bureaucraticness of a privateer vessel. No captain of the watch is responsible for anything other than the crew members underneath him and like the responsibilities therein. Like there isn't a watch captain who also does the armory or anything because that's the quartermaster's job. So as far as you're aware, he had no other things.
All right. Bjorn, you learn anything from the knife?
It's a very finely crafted dagger here, but it's nothing out of the order. It's out of the ordinary, except for seems to be very old, but it's well maintained, and it's got silver inlaid in it, just a little bit though, not the whole thing.
Strange. I mean, you'd think it looks like a nice enough dagger to me. You'd think someone, if it was a member of the crew, somebody else would have seen them with it. Don't you think?
Most definitely, this would stand out.
Maybe we ask the crew if they've ever seen that dagger before.
It's a good start. I don't know why someone would leave something so cared for, something so old, just in the back of someone.
I don't understand why they'd kill Lutis. Wonderfully affable gentleman.
Well, there's many reasons to kill someone, but leaving a dagger of this quality is a fucking
killing
crime.
Someone, sure, but just leaving this beautiful work of art abandoned.
Maybe they were trying to send a message, or maybe trying to pin it on someone.
I guess that's a possibility.
Well, we can be sure of one thing. It wasn't the 6-inch man that Stone is looking for.
And then we see like a man walking around with like a fucking stepladder who's 6 inches tall, and he's like
I ruled out as a suspect. It's time to go on a murder spree.
The doctor.
My job is done. They suspect the Parisians.
The doctor asks Eric if he's done like with his check over.
Yeah, I like to fiddle with the bodies for a bit, So.
I'm going to wrap him for a burial at sea now. If you're all well and good.
I'm quite done. Thank you, doctor.
Very well. Then I would like some. I mean, it's a very somber.
Do you need any assistance?
I mean, no offense when I say this. I have total respect for a country doctor and his know-how, but preparing a body is for a burial at sea is
Eric.
It's very particular.
If you said that someone would want to leave a message, have we searched his pockets?
Excuse Bjorn and myself. What, Bjorn?
His clothes have just been ripped off of him and left there.
Yeah. Okay, so I go and investigate the clothes to see if there's actually a note.
I did it, Captain. It was me, the 6-inch man.
Stone is looking like at every like on the floor.
It was the goddamn servo skull.
He's looking
no, there
around.
is not a note. There is not any indication of anything. All of his shit is intact. The doctor asked you to leave it as, he will have inheritors. Yeah. This isn't a,
I'm not gonna
he's dead. He's dead and I found his boots, so I'll get his boots, right?
I'm not doing that.
If he had something to hide, it would most likely be sewn into his clothing, potentially. Like, maybe feel around the edges. Like, if I was to hide something, I would do it there. But I'm not there, so I can't check.
But if he just stabbed him in the back, would he have time to, take his jacket off and then sew in a letter and then
No, I think what he's
no.
saying is that. So, see, Eric and Bjorn are looking for a message left by the killer intentionally. What Dave is saying is, if Lutece had something to hide, it would be hidden in his clothing already.
Because there is no
Dave-
private space in this fucking shit.
Okay.
So.
Right, because Dave suspects the officers well, they have an obvious conspiracy. He suspects that conspiracy of being bad, and not good. And
Well, no, I
Smart.
suspect it mostly just being making their share of their newfound fortune, which they got rid of their entire old crew just to attempt to get bigger. You know,
So,
it's the
two
bank
brief
robbers
time skips.
conundrum.
It's dawn, burial at sea. Captain is in his best finery, so are the other captains of the watch. Everybody's asked to clean up a little bit and have some goddamn respect for their fellow sailor. There is the shot is handed out to salute with shot, and some words are spoken by the captain. Turns out some other guy on the ship was like a really good friend of Lutice's. He says some stuff. And then they're just gonna tip him and dip him, so to speak, and that happens, and it's all very sad and dramatic, and it's at dawn, and you sail away just as the seagulls start to.
His body turns into Cthulhu.
A day later, as people are quite mad, you've been spared flogging, but you have been not uncoincidentally been given extra hard labor by the quartermaster. You're swabbing the deck even though you shouldn't be, or actually he's having to polish all of the cannons or something really stupid. As you're doing that, Ricardo, apropos of basically nothing, a man with a mop, another crew member, mops his way through the cannon room, and when he gets to you, very obviously, and he whispers, "You're all right to suspect the captain about something, but it ain't the murder."
I without turning my head or reacting to him saying anything to me, I just say, "It is not the murder I expect that he is guilty of, my friend."
We'll talk later. This whole murder thing's got to blow over though first. Elsewise, we might catch a dag in the back ourselves. And he just sort of starts mopping away.
At that point, I turn and see who it is.
You turn and see he's gone. No, I'm kidding.
He's trying to open the door to get out stealthily, but he can't.
It's a 6-inch man.
I was gonna say it's a 6-inch man.
It's a 6-inch man. With
Can
a
you
mop.
help me? I can't reach the handle. There's no cracks in this.
He's just a sailor. You don't catch his face either, but he has very distinct braided hair stuff at the back, so you would know him if you saw him later.
Okay.
You've seen him around before as well. He's just a sailor, right? He's not a quartermaster or a captain or a watch or anything.
Which region of the world is he from? Would he perhaps be the only other Parisian on the ship?
No, there are other Parisians on the ship. He's actually from Bjorn's native country. He looks very Viking-y with his braided up hair,
Bright red braided hair.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
He looks very Thrinish.
Yeah, very Thrinian. Is it Thrinish or Thrinian? Or I don't know another one.
A Thrinite?
Thrinite. There you go. Thank you.
All of them.
That's the thing about Thrinians is you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, but no one, unless you're from Thrinn, only Thrinians know how to say Thronite. You know what I'm saying?
Thrinites.
Well, no, only Thrinians can say the right word for them, but you know they just don't. They don't hassle other people. It's a movement of the tongue and a thing that nobody else can do. Like and
a handshake and a handshake.
Yeah,
yeah. Everyone in the country has a secret handshake that no one else in the world has ever seen. So,
well, they change it every 6 months.
Yeah, they have the annual meeting, biannual. Sorry.
So on that little bit of intrigue, I think it's time to call it to an end.
Okay.
Murder, captain, crew, etc.
Barrels.
Murder mystery.
6-inch
boat,
man.
Missing carrots.
Definitely 6-inch man.
Look, the missing carrots were.
6-inch man.
Look, the 6-inch man, who still, probably would have made some noise, and ruffled the flower. Yeah, like what I mean. Like it doesn't answer all the questions.
He might be a 6-inch man, but he's as thin as a piece of paper.
He's a 6-inch man who can also float.
I
He
mean,
folded himself up into a paper airplane because the.
All right.
That's my theory.
So
that's the theory I'm going to stick with.
Let's do some shout outs then and wind this bitch up, I suppose. Mr. Eugene, let's start with you.
The secret is we never left the island in the first place.
It's all in your head.
It's just a coma dream. We all wake up. Yeah. We actually got severe food poisoning from food that was being cooked.
Yeah, you are all figments of my imagination. I'm just like, man, I wish I could cook. Wouldn't it be awesome if I was a pirate cook?
You're just like on a desert island somewhere, just dying. Like, oh man, I'd make 3 squares a day, and then somebody would get murdered, and I'd help.
Awesome.
He has 3 bowls.
Like the sand in my mouth is because I'm literally just eating sand.
Yeah, there's like he has a rock. He has a rock with Stone's face on it. Yeah, he has a rock with Stone's face on it. He has a coconut with Ricardo's face on it, and then he just has like a piece of timber that's Vision, and he just talks to everyone. So it's like,
He can't slate his thirst because he's literally dying of thirst on a desert island somewhere, and has no water.
And thank you for joining us for Dead Man's Crest. Join us next week for a new show about trees and dragons and stuff.
Well, certainly not next week because Eugene's on a business thing.
Well, obviously I'll be replaced with a better looking actor. Anyway,
Tom Selleck.
hi, I'm Eugene. You can find me at twitch.tv/Eugene. Or, increasingly on Henley's channel, just randomly shilling myself for his fun and profit.
That's it.
I shouldn't do it, but it's so much fun. I can't help myself. Anyway, thank you for all of you for being here, and for all of you on YouTube for watching. I appreciate you getting to this point. And another thank you to my wonderful companions on this pirating adventure, even though they did not get the memo to dress up as a pirate would.
I am going to get a pirate costume for this show as soon as the Halloween sort of.
When did that message come out? Because I didn't see it.
When I decided it last week and told no one.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, he gave you all the warning you needed when he wore the tunic last week. Like,
it's true.
That was the message that it was time to start dressing up.
I'd like to see how you become a troll.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. When did your bandana change color?
You didn't notice that?
After the first break. Come on, man.
Why?
Come on, man.
This is the bandana of murderers.
It is.
But we hadn't killed anybody at the first break yet.
You hadn't killed anybody.
No.
I like the idea that Wreckage doesn't know who the killer is either, and it's just one of us. It's just like
the 4 of us have gotten together and just decided that one of us is the murderer.
And I announced the murder, but had no idea. I was equally as shocked as everybody.
Guys, you'd be surprised. There's a murder on this ship now. I don't know anything about it. I'm the GM.
It's so weird.
So weird.
His dying breath was, Why are you stabbing me, Bjorn? Why? Why, Bjorn? Why are you stabbing me?
Why are you stabbing me, Bjorn? So yeah,
Perhaps.
let's speak about Bjorn. Let's go over to Prylor. What up, sir? How you doing?
Yeah, you can find me at Pryler, on Twitch, and Pryler_TV on Twitter. Thank you, Henley, for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
Like usual, I enjoy it, man. This episode has been an interesting one, from accusing your character of being the thief to then everyone suspecting you of murder is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
Sorry. But thanks, Dr. Wreckage. I've enjoyed it. And thanks for having me, guys. I really do appreciate it. And thanks everyone for viewing. I love you all.
Aw. And we'll see you tomorrow. Because you're coming back tomorrow.
That's true.
He is, yes. Last but not least, from the player side of things, we have Mr. James Cuck. What up, sir? How you doing? Happy birthday.
Who?
James C. UK. What up, man? How you doing?
Hi. Hi, I'm all right, thank you. I didn't know who you was talking of a minute ago.
James Cuck
I don't have-
is another person. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly is. Yep. Right ring, from what I understand. Hi, I'm James the UK. I live in the UK, funnily that. And I've got a safari hat.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. If you'd like to, I'm 6 away from hitting 1,400 followers, but
Ooh.
if you'd like to, check out my stuff that I do over at my Chambers. My channel. Over at my channel, check at twitch.tv/JamesUK. I do RPG stuff and board games and occasionally play video games. Not as much as I used to, but that's until I find something that really spikes my interest again. You can follow me on Twitter as well at JamesUK as well, and I'm also on YouTube as well as JamesUK. I'm slowly starting to archive stuff because I've been advised that it's the best plan to do.
Yeah, it is.
Other than that, that's about it really. Yeah, role play games and similar things to what Henry does.
Yes, indeed. And last but not least, we have our storyteller, game master for the session, Mr. Dr. Wreckage. Hello, sir.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure. Glad we could get to some content finally, having moved past the mechanisms a little bit. Not sure how it went myself. Probably talk after we go out air, see how people feel. Had a good episode though. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed what everyone was doing with their stuff and what everyone said and did and thought about doing and then didn't do. And then also there was the 6-inch man joke, which is hilarious on multiple levels. Can't wait for him to turn out to be the actual bad guy of the entire campaign.
Yeah, Mr. Poopy Buttholes is here, and he's just,
Ooh wee. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, please follow, and subscribe. Also, come back here tomorrow for the new show, and also come back on Monday for LA at Night, which is the other thing that I am involved in. We have an exciting surprise for this LA at Night.
Really?
Yeah, even Dave doesn't know about it. But I do, and it's exciting, and it's going to be a great surprise, and I can't wait to.
Is it a 6-inch man?
I mean, that would be possible in LA.
I could put a 6-inch man. I could do that in LA at Night, super easy. Maybe we will also include that for James's sake. So be sure to tune in for all of the exciting things that are yet to come this week and more on Die Party, the world of tomorrow.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode. If you have, consider following the channel, and if you're feeling real saucy, why not subscribe? Get access to the cockpit and the best emotes on Twitch. Going forward, tomorrow is the very first episode of Die Party Surge, which is a brand new game in the Shadowrun universe. I'm going to mute Wreckage so that he can stop typing. and that's gonna be a great game because it's a narrative-driven version of Shadowrun rather than the crunchy. Wait, how many dice are you rolling to throw a grenade again? So that'll be interesting, and that's gonna be a family-friendly show. Definitely no problems there whatsoever. That's gonna be Spoody, Doc Gast, Mr. Eugene, Mr. James Mr. James CUK, and
I'm going to be a drug addicted sex addict.
and Mr. Pryler.
I'm not sure it's going to be family friendly, sir.
That's okay.
Drug addicted sex addict.
I've had that before in one of my games, so I'm well and truly okay running that stuff. So it's definitely not going to be family friendly. So and that's the only thing that's new. I don't know if there's going to be board games this week because I'm having family visit for my wedding. So we need to I need to hang out with them. So that's how that goes. So this next week is going to be interesting. But, make sure you head over to the Discord because we are talking there about how we can do the Die Party Fan Game Day. If you want to participate and maybe work out how that happens, you can go over there and check that out. But other than that, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We outie. And remember, don't suspect the Parisian. Just don't, please. It's racist. Good night.
You know what they say about people from Peresia?